Tonight on 8.5-bit, we repeat ourselves, get big, float around, and repeat ourselves.
Hey, Paul.
Hello, James. Welcome, friends. Well, it's episode 255 of 8.5-bit. I'm your host, Paul, and joining me today is my good friend, James.
Hello. Well, you touched my face.
It's my new thing.
At least you're not throttling me anymore. do we need to talk about that thing, Paul?
No, sure, we've spoken about my weird
strangling phase.
Yeah, super quick side note. I decided to make more physical contact with people when I spoke to them, and somehow this then propagated into me literally putting my hand on people's throats and leaning into it when I spoke to them. I don't know what happened.
It was very strange that somehow that's where you landed.
I was just like, hey, buddy, but somehow the head was further up.
Into that. And the beauty of it was
nobody stopped me.
Well, you slipped into it like so naturally that no one blinked.
We so naturally moved to strangulation that nobody noticed.
Yeah, it's just like, it's just the thing that Paul does.
It's the toad slowly boiling in the pot. Yeah. It's Paul slowly strangling all of his closest friends.
Yeah.
I started with the eye contact and went on to the strangulation.
Yeah.
And the games we're going to talk about today from that great intro I did. We'll be talking about the Swords of Ditto with its new expansion and release on the Switch. Ghost Giant or Giant Ghost. That's something to talk about. That's what we'll have to talk about.
Oh, okay.
And Space Junkies. Well, Space Jinkies would be more fun.
Little Jinkies.
Jinky Winkies. Okay. And a bunch of stuff that's happened. Lots of other games. We'll also, at the end of this episode, we're going to end the episode and then we're going to have a spoiler-filled discussion on the game Photographs Puzzle Stories. So, if you don't know why that's interesting, start it and then stop if it sounds interesting and you want to do it.
Yeah.
If you've played it, listen to it. If you want to play it, stop the episode there, go play it, and then listen to the rest. Because we will spoil as much of it that we can. Because that's really good to spoil.
Yeah.
It's a good spoil.
And we can only spoil so much.
Oh, I can spoil so many things. Has you all watched Game of Thrones and Endgame?
Yes, I have.
Good.
Yeah.
Spoil it all. I can't believe that Thanos did 9/11. No. That joke thing that I want to have happened in Endgame. So not a thing that happens in the Endgame, but it's so similar to the ideas that happen in Endgame. Me talking about the joke thing I want would also be a potential spoiler for Endgame. And, it's not the most genius thing ever, but people want to go in blind and have a good time.
I went, even though I don't even care that much about Marvel movies, I still went into media blackout. Like, I just went, I'm going to spend 3 days not on social media, which in itself was actually quite nice.
Yeah, I think I do the opposite. So I don't hang around places that they will normally. Oh no, I don't avoid places that, but I'm not subscribed to Marvel or anything. Yeah. And in an election thread, someone put 2 big spoilers about the fate of 2 characters in just the middle of a comment about Scott Morrison. Oh, and I was like, oh, thanks. But the thing was, without context, meant nothing to me.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, okay. Honestly, from understanding the structure of the series and even the business side of it, that's not even a surprise. Why it happens is what I'm interested in. So I actually don't know that at all. Because that's kind of the good thing about Endgame. I think that, did you know what the movie was about other than trying to fix the problem?
No, that was all I knew.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was actually kind of refreshing seeing something where I just genuinely did not know, what was going to happen in this thing. I don't know.
I know the world. I know the characters. I know the general gist of what they'd want to do, but I don't know how. I don't know what the path forward is, and that's going to be part of what the story is as well. They don't know the path forward, and so they find it out, and we do too. It's kind of fun, and the fact that they pulled 22 movies together into an actually satisfying conclusion, which still has lots, leads on to as many more things as they want as well, but it's sort of. That's just a huge thing that they put together.
I guess sort of structurally, it was probably my favorite Avengers movie. I felt it was more well put together than any of the recent big 3-hour ensemble cast movies. Yeah. And I think the fact it was a big 3-hour thing with that many characters and that many stories that could happen, and it was coherent and didn't feel like a bunch of things that were just smushed together. which is kind of the feeling that I got from Infinity War.
See, I would consider Infinity War a bit better of a film, but they're both pretty good.
Yeah, like I've actually, I think Red Letter Media were actually talking about it, and I was kind of surprised I had like the direct opposite opinion that I had. Yeah, which was like for me, like I thought that this the second one was a more coherent, put together story.
I would consider Endgame a more episodic film.
Maybe because the structure was so three.
Although Endgame was anyway, this isn't
it's not an Endgame thing.
I had to leave like a third into the film though.
Really?
Yep. Left my keys at the restaurant downstairs.
Oh, okay. Hey, yeah.
I missed like 2 minutes.
Yeah,
it was fine, and I was so much happier knowing that I had my keys because I was like I couldn't find them. Like, hey, hon, do you have my keys? Do you have my keys, hon? No.
And the guy was like,
just look for them afterwards. Like, nah.
No.
I'm not going to sit here for another two plus hours wondering where my keys are, and maybe they'll be at the restaurant that'll be shut by the time.
No, you're just going to be anxious the whole time, and you won't be having good times.
So I went and got my keys, and then I could enjoy the movie.
So, spoiler, found your keys.
Yes. Thanos actually stole my keys.
That make the whole Thanos key key theft subplot make sense now.
Yeah.
I was really confused at the time.
It was very specific to Paul's viewing.
Yeah.
It was strange that they did include it, but you know, they do their homework, these Marvel folk. Okay. I don't know where to start. At the very beginning. We can talk about some news first.
Yeah, I mean, there's been a bit of stuff. That's been happening.
Bit of stuff. Let's, of course, start with the most important bit of news. New Earthworm Jim's been announced.
Oh, has it?
Yes. And what is it exclusive to?
Is it a sequel to Earthworm Jim 3D?
No, it is so they put out the press release to say the original team is back. With I can't remember the artist name, Doug, whatever, whatever, you know, Netherhood and everything as well. Well, you know, he's got some opinions that people don't like. I've never really looked into it much, but that's all right. I'm like, yeah, but not the whole team. I used to be friends with some of the team.
Yeah.
I'm like, they're not on this. They are.
Hey.
Dave Perry's on there.
Hey.
Nick Brody's on there. like, oh shit, they're actually all back, and they're making an Earthworm Jim game, and it's exclusive.
Can I got to guess?
Yeah.
I want to say Switch.
No.
No. All right. Epic.
No. No, it's console exclusive.
It is console. Vita?
No.
Xbox?
No.
I'm running out here. Well, PlayStation?
No.
Ouya?
Closer, but no.
I don't know. Some like Chinese.
I had to write it on the notes because I couldn't remember what the actual project was called.
Atari?
I believe it's the Intellivision Amico, which I believe is Atari is making. I'm not sure. It's something like that. I didn't really look at it. I think, but it's Intellivision, I'm pretty sure. But Amico is the console that's being made, and this will be exclusive to it. I assume for 2 months until they.
Oh yeah.
Then port it to other things.
It's their Towerfall.
Because that was the thing. Like, just wait. You've actually got like not all those people are big names in game development. Like a lot of them are just doing grunt work and everything. But I'm sure Dave Perry is like still got shitloads of money and like does what he wants to a degree, and like getting the whole team back together seems like okay. And to get that, and with Earthworm Jim that big of a name that you're gonna get people to your new console, this is our new mascot.
Hey, look, we got our Beneath the Steel Sky sequel.
It's true. They Apple did launch with the Beneath the Steel Sky. Okay, so that's good. That's more of an issue. Xbox has launched a new console. It is exactly as reported. It's an Xbox One S, but without a DVD drive. In fact, when they released it, they released a little video that just showed them like, what if we just took the drive out? Yay! And it's not notably any cheaper than buying the one with the drive.
So why wouldn't you get the one with the drive? Is it smaller?
No, it's exactly the same form factor.
So what's the benefit of not having a drive? Okay, sure.
When it's on sale, which it probably will be a lot, it might be $50 cheaper. But then,
see, I thought that this thing should have been for like knock $100 off kind of thing.
Yeah,
like,
even if you take a loss, like make it like this is going to be our streaming box and everything. It's like, nah. And also,
or make it really slim. That was like you make it
like, very small,
really tiny little thing, slim line I can put in. That makes sense to me.
But yeah, same form factor, same. It's just like, and it's still it was the Xbox One all digital edition, so it's Xbox One SAD.
It is the
which
Xbox
is the SAD,
yeah.
Which is strange move. They released it quickly, and it's like a test, but it's a weird test. If it was cheaper, it would be good.
You know, they could actually just be gearing up for like their next, whatever they're doing next. This could be a little bit of like a market test.
Yeah, well, that's what.
Yeah.
But it's weird in being like not notably cheaper.
Yeah,
because if it was cheaper, then that would be like, oh yeah, people will accept it at the right thing. But why would you get something with less features?
I have a feeling
same price?
This is actually just a giant A/B test, and if that's all it is, you want to keep the prices the same because you want to see if it's a differentiating factor. I mean, look, putting on my analytics hat, all right.
But I feel like I could tell you the answer to those analytics without having to do the test.
Can you, Paul?
Well, that's what we'll find out. That's one of the things that's been pissing me off about the whole Epic thing. Whenever something comes out, and then Epic or the company will say, it sold great. And then the normal rebuttal is, it would have sold better on Steam. We don't fucking know that. We don't know what these numbers... they're not sharing the numbers to begin with. And even if they do share the numbers, we don't know what it would have done in the mythical thing of saying... Even with the best data in the world, we can't prove that. So stop treating it like fact.
Yeah. I would not be surprised at all if with the Epic Store, if it is such a different market, that's just like... It's almost like the Steam market, what it was 5-6 years ago when they had that exclusivity. And like all the Steam people are kind of on their own Steam thing. But there's all those people that are like under 25 that are playing Fortnite. That have this thing and probably don't even pay that much attention to Steam. They probably just don't give a shit.
No. Well, there I can't remember. There was a number of just how, like, the percentage of people that had Epic Games Store that did not have Steam accounts. It was pretty high.
Yeah, yeah. Because I expect it would be.
Because a lot of younger people do not really play PC games particularly. I mean, shitloads do. Yeah. But, you know, we're talking generals. Yeah. It's always hard, like, yeah, we can't armchair analyze this stuff. We can have our theories. Theories are fine and fun. And sometimes I feel so. So next Epic Game Store game, I'm not sure if it's live yet or if it's very soon, is World of Goo, which I laughed a little bit at because World of Goo is like 12 years old now, and it's been given away free on everything. Yeah. I once bought 30 copies of it for like 10 cents each and just gave them to every single person that I had on my friends that didn't have it. I love it.
Just messaging, jump on the Discord if you want a free copy of World of Goo.
I probably still got a bunch of them. But also you just go to Epic Game Store and get a free copy of World of Goo.
Well, they're updating it, aren't they?
They're updating it,
Because like it's still like this old PC
It ran
thing.
800 by 600.
Yeah, with like a lock resolution. Yeah.
So the game is not different in any way that plays. There's no content, but it's updated to run and look nicer, which is good. So I was like, I will play it again. Yeah. Thank you very much. Because World of Goo is a wonderful game, I think. And that update is coming to at the moment, you can only get it if you originally bought World of Goo from their website, which I think I might have, but I can't be bothered finding the old email. So you can download it directly, then it's Epic Game Store, and then it'll go to every other store. Yeah. So it will come to you within the next week, probably. We had big Persona 5 announcements. We got more details on what Persona 5 Royale will be, which is basically just the Persona 5 Golden. It's like new character, another couple of new scenarios in there. It's like expansion. But if you want to play it, it's not DLC or anything. You just got to buy the entire game again and play the whole thing again.
Oh, Cheryl's going to buy that again.
Of course she will.
Yeah.
And everyone was very excited for the imminent announcement of it also coming to the Switch. It was definitely coming. They were going to announce Persona 5 S the next day. And we were like, well, S is for Switch.
Yes.
And I mean, we just had Joker released in Smash Brothers. It's destined to be. I mean, Persona 4 only really got huge on the Vita once it was portable. It was like, I mean, it was still big before that, but Vita is where it exploded. Like, people want Persona portable. This is a no-brainer. So they announced Persona 5 Scramble, and it is coming to the Switch, but it's a just
Dynasty Warriors style game,
which are not fun. Bad games, all of them. Not a single good one amongst them. I played every one of them. I know this as a fact.
They're not great. I didn't mind the Fire Emblem one because it brought in the rock paper scissors mechanic of like the sword. What is it? What are the three things? What's a triangle and Fire Emblem?
Look, when I say I played them all, I was lying, James.
Oh, here I was, Paul, thinking you were the resident Dynasty Warriors expert.
I've played like 2 Dynasty Warriors games for a cumulative 40 minutes, and I don't enjoy it.
I've never been that big on them. I was thinking, like, with the Persona 5 on the Switch, like, is it like technical limitations? But then when I think about, like, Persona 5 is a very good-looking game.
It's also on PS3.
It's also very stylized, and like there's nothing that I can think of in Persona 5 that it like while looks fantastic, it looks amazing. It's not like it's pushing the limits of technology. No. It's just incredibly stylish and very clever about how it uses art. So I could see it working on the Switch.
Well, I mean, as I said, like we all think of it as a PS4 game, but it was a PS3 and PS4 release. I'm 99% sure, unless I've gone insane.
I thought it was just PS4, but
I'm pretty sure it was a PS3 release as
well.
well.
I wouldn't be surprised.
So if it is, we may as well fact check while we're here.
Yeah.
That's all good.
But yeah, I mean, it was really Persona 4 was when it hit the PSP or the Vita was when it it was such a good way to consume that game because it is basically a visual novel.
Yeah, it came out on PS3 as well.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so that even makes
Royale
sense
is not coming out on PS3, but
so it's coming to PS4 and Switch.
Yeah. Not Switch. Royale is not coming to Switch.
No, Scramble is coming out.
Scramble. So Scramble is pretty much what I call any dog that is crawling on its belly. I go, I'm going to call you Scrambles. so I just got very excited. It's Persona 5 Scrambles. Come on, Scrambles. Let's go. Trying to get away from me, just trying to shove you in my car. Strange dog on the street with trying to get back to its yard. No, come with me, Scrambles. Oh, he's so cute. All the dogs are mine. They want to be with me, James. All of the dogs.
I get to look after a doggo today in the office because we have a dog friendly office. And someone was like,
"You want to borrow one of mine?"
They were walking out to go to get lunch, and the dog ran over to us. And then she went, "Oh, they love dogs. Can you mind our dog for 5 minutes?" Mm-hmm. Like, oh, can we? Fortunately, that turned into about 15, 20 minutes. And it got a little bit awkward.
That's not enough time for a dog.
Because I love sitting with a dog, but I also have work to do. Oh, yeah. And it wasn't like there was a bed there where I could settle.
Don't you work in game development?
Yeah.
It's not a real job. You got plenty of dog time. He's just playing games all day.
No, Paul, you don't understand. It's game dev, but also own business.
Yeah, just turn the graphics up. push the export to Amico button in Unity.
It's not there yet.
And it's done.
I wish that I could have more dog time.
Yeah. Well, you know what they say. You want more dog time.
Get more dogs?
Go to jail.
You could go to one of those progressive jails
I bet if you go to a Norwegian jail, I bet they allow dogs.
Oh, they would, because the prison's amazing. There's a really good documentary on Netflix about world's most dangerous prisons, or I think that's what it's called. And it's the guy that hosts it actually was wrongly imprisoned for 12 years. So he's got a very interesting kind of perspective on prisons. And so he goes through a bunch of these really shitty prisons.
Sounds like a secret criminal.
And then he gets they just do one of those really progressive Norwegian things. And you just look at it at the end and they have a super low reoffense rate. The people are there's very little violence. It's all these other ones are just fucked. And then there's one where so you treat the prisoners like people.
Yeah, it's funny. It's funny when you treat someone like a human being and try to integrate with them society. They want to integrate with society.
Yeah. It's funny that.
Yeah. But can't we just have a register where we can abuse them constantly for the rest of their life?
We can put them in a cell for 23 hours a day.
They'll be very well adjusted.
Mm.
I mean, we should... Let's not make this the crime and punishment podcast. My suggestion was if we're not going to rehabilitate them properly, why don't we just lock them in a hole for eternity?
Well, it's kind of what we do.
It's kind of what we do.
It's kind of what we do. Kind of the sad thing is that's actually already what we're doing.
Yeah, but we let them out once in a while.
An hour a day.
No. We say, oh, you've done enough time in the hole. Yeah. We'll see you again soon, fucker. And then here you go. Just go lie in this street and here's a knife.
Here's your knife back, sir.
Is my cynicism on the penal system?
It depends what country you're in. Yeah. US is pretty bad. Australia is not as bad.
Yeah. We'll get into this another day. If you want to join our crime and punishment podcast, our true crime. We should do true crime, but really uninteresting crimes.
Just troll the local Brisbane news.
Yeah, and things that aren't nothing, just okay. It's
there was a daylight robbery the other day.
On the 7th of February, 2011, John Wickham was glassed in a pub. We're going to delve into all the... And it's just us going up to... And then someone threw a glass at him. And then they saw him and they arrested him.
Look, that sounds like a 4-season podcast right there.
We're talking about all
who manufactured that glass, Paul?
It's like,
why aren't there safety standards on the glass? Why isn't there more plastic?
Did anyone see John get glassed? Yes, 15 people, and we're here to interview each one of them. Yeah, I saw it fucking happen. It's Jimmy. So, yeah, it was Jimmy, all right. I filmed it on my phone. I put it on YouTube. Here. This is the true crime we need.
It's obvious crimes.
We're the solution solvers. We solve the already within solutions. Very well. Okay. Other things that count as new. The new Nintendo hardware, whilst we're anticipating at least the more mobile version of it this year, is not going to be announced at E3. They've said we're announcing no hardware at E3.
I'm kind of glad. Like, I think the little Switch is already kind of trooping. I would like them.
I will lay money. $13 right here, right now, that we're going to get the smaller Switch.
Oh, with Pokemon.
At a smaller before Pokemon.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, that'll happen. But the whatever the next kind of like Switch Plus is, I'm happy for them.
That sounds like that's really early in development.
Yeah, I want them to push that as long as possible. Because I think right now the Switch is still doing fine.
Yeah.
And I'd like them more time to get sort of more grunt into that thing.
Yeah, it's not begging for it. Like, there's obviously there's ways you could improve it, but it doesn't need anything particularly at the moment. Yes. Psionics, which I forgot their name in crap, what was our old PC developer?
Saigon?
Psygnosis.
Psygnosis, yeah.
Yeah, I was like, oh, Psygnosis is back. No, the makers of Rocket League have gone They have been bought by Epic. They are now an Epic-owned company. And one of the first bits of news is that they will be removing Rocket League from Steam.
Jesus. Epic just gives no fucks, do they?
Yeah, that was pretty much everyone's reaction. Yeah. And Epic said, no, we're not doing that. I'm like, where did that news come from then? So maybe they will, maybe they won't. But it's not it's not a fact.
Yeah, I hope they don't. But
it seems very petty if they do.
Yeah, but it also is sort of like, that's what Epic does right now. So
yeah, the weirdest thing was Tim Sweeney saying that if Steam just would commit to an 88% rev share with developers, we'd stop doing exclusives tomorrow.
Oh, that was such a genius move from them.
Oh, I mean,
it's they can't lose this.
Well, yeah, it's one of those things like that makes no business sense anyway, because it would make them more of a competitor to you, so you would need exclusives even more. But they obviously are not going to do it, so you can just sort of get out there and say that you're good without any threat of them actually responding to you, because it's a stupid thing to say. But you can try to build yourself a moral high ground. It's like, no. I wonder who it convinces though, because everyone sort of is like, we see through that. Clever bug.
Yeah, because I looked at it and was like,
silly bugger.
Exactly. That was like, that's a very clever move. There is no way you can look bad in this situation. Either you've saved everyone, or you get to keep doing your shit.
It's very political. It's like, well, yes, we've put forward this. Let's not have birthday cakes for all pedophiles bill. And I challenge the opposition to come out against the no pedophiles birthday cakes bill. Everyone just sort of looks at them and goes, we're not even engaging. But I guess you win. You win. You're fucking obvious. But, everyone should have a birthday cake.
Even
maybe that's the problem.
Oh, back to our true crime podcast.
After 40 years of incarceration, he did receive a birthday cake. It was disappointing. It's one of those cold sponges just with some whipped cream on top.
It was kind of like the end of the day.
Because when I first met Lisa, I told her my favorite cake was an apple tea cake. Now, this is not an exciting cake.
It's a good cake. It's a solid cake. Yeah.
She was aghast because she had only ever had like a store-bought thing, which is basically a sponge with a bit of apple put on it and then sprinkled with cinnamon. It's like, no, it's moist and it's dense and it's very appley and it's, let me show you the way.
I'm a Black Forest cake guy. That is my favorite cake.
Black Forest is good. Very rich, but I like that.
I like that kind of like that tart layer in the middle.
We haven't spoken about what's on the board behind me.
Almost, because I have no idea what this is.
Okay, so this has nothing to do with games. It kind of does, very tangentially. So on the board, as we sometimes write, today is just almost did bad, because I was looking at the games, and I normally try to like make something based on the games. I'm like, okay, well, I've been playing a bit of Swords of Ditto, so Ditto. I don't want to write Ditto up there. I'm like, I just started writing, Me Too. And then I saw what I wrote.
Oh, yes.
And write, this is not appropriate.
Yeah. Yes.
Yes, so I instead just referenced my almost terrible use of words that have now other loaded meanings.
Yep.
Since we were in the controversials part of the show, I thought we'd bring that up. We'll talk about that again soon.
What's the Me Too movement?
Yeah. No. We've spoken about that plenty, I'm sure. I have nothing new to say.
Yeah.
When I do, you'll be the first to know, James. There was a huge Kickstarter this week. Basically, it was a pitch for Mass Effect with sex, actual porn. And it wanted $185,000 Australian. And they ended it with 3.1 million.
Yeah, they're fucked. They got too much money.
We'll see. We'll see, because they didn't keep doing stretch goals. They stopped.
Okay, good.
But I don't ever see why they would ever have made a good game in the first place.
Yeah.
It's just space titties. I mean, I hope they surprise me. But
what has the team done?
I think they've done some other porny games, but I'm not really aware of them.
We're getting close to Honey Pop 2.
They had a very funny trailer.
Yeah.
It's going to be quite epic from the sounds, which is, good. Okay, and then these other things are more talking points, so we'll get back to them later. I guess we could talk about Borderlands 3.
Oh, yeah. That happened today, / 2-3 days ago. So, my impression?
You go, because... Get ready for the cynicism drop.
Actually, no cynicism.
No, from me.
Oh, okay.
No, you get to talk first before I just go on my hard rap against how everything made me throw up a little bit in my mouth.
So,
except for throwing the barrels.
I've never really gotten that into Borderlands games. I've the world I've never been that into. The characters are a little bit too silly for me, with the exception of Handsome Jack, who is actually my favorite villain from any game ever. I fucking love Handsome Jack.
Now I've got to think of better villains.
Yeah,
okay.
No, Handsome Jack
Handsome
Jack is amazing.
I mean, what about characters from Torment? Do they count?
No. Handsome Jack is amazing because he's the only other voice of reason in this world, and he's also the villain. So like he's like the only other sane person there that's just going, this is fucking nuts, and just rolling with it. So I love Handsome Jack as a character. So anyway, Borderlands 3. So wasn't expecting too much. What I'd seen from the video so far was like, it looks like more Borderlands 3. It looks like more Borderlands 3, but the guns are a little bit wackier, so a little bit more variation in the behavior of the guns. It's good. Two big things were, well, the one major big thing was that now there is level scaling. But because they couldn't just rip it out, they went, we'll have a classic mode for the people that still want their dumb mode, which no one does anymore for good reason. I find the level scaling weird. I find it strange. Again, we can always caveat this with like Paul doesn't play these games. And let's also say level scaling plus loot. Instancing.
They're optional. So no one can steal the guns, and anyone can jump in at any level.
Yeah.
And whilst I do want more options to allow people to play together, because that's I remember I mentioned before when we started playing Borderlands 2, we started with 4 people, and then the second week we got together, and the other people had put in 30 hours.
Yes.
And we're like, well, fuck.
Well, let's add that amount.
Yeah. I just find it weird when it is. They literally were showing both players, and they're looking at the same scene. And in one scene, the enemy's at level 27, and the other scene, the enemy's level 5, and they're both doing equivalent damage. At which point I go like, why the fuck is there even level in this game in the first place?
So
if it's entirely like you can turn it off.
So what? Yeah, because you can go to the classic mode if you want.
But it means like the whole progression is everything's just scaled to where it needs to be at all times. What's the fucking point?
What it means is that for when you're leveling up, it kind of you still personally get the power creep, so good for you. But you
don't get any more powerful in practice against the people you're playing with.
Against them or with them. No, but it doesn't matter. Like, this is something I've played MMOs for a long time. I've played a lot of these kind of games. And I've seen games go through the phase of, like, probably up around Rift was where I started seeing it in kind of MMOs, where they went, you know what, like, it's all well and good having this sort of like comparative power level between players, but especially if it's kind of PvE, why? Like, what's the gain out of it?
But I don't understand the gain of it, even of the actual leveling system even existing.
Because it's like it's the numbers getting bigger.
Like, but they don't.
Well, for you they do. Contextually, for you they do.
Yeah, but it's just what they look like. It doesn't affect the gameplay. And in fact, one of the things was because the enemies are just a different number for each person. It means that a tough enemy isn't an enemy that has like more elemental armor, doing different things, like having not complex. I actually wasn't bullshit, but I mean like more complex enemies. The enemies are exactly as complex throughout, no matter what level you are.
I think this is a case of Paul not liking the genre because this is what the genre is. Right, like it's
meaningless.
It's the illusion of progression because they're never about actually getting stronger. There is an algorithm of a normalized difficulty, which is where you sit as you play. You move around that normalized difficulty.
I guess I just never have that lizard in my brain.
But that's what it is. Like that's what the games are. That's what they've always been.
I mean, I guess that's when we were talking about pop gears last week. I'm like, as soon as I start, I go like, okay, so you just keep doing these numbers up for no reason.
It's like even like you go to WoW, like all that ever matters is the color of the enemy. Yeah, sure, there's numbers. But it's like, oh, it's green, it's easy. It's yellow, it's going to be medium. Red, hard, and skull, I can't kill it. And all you're doing is shifting that color bracket.
Immune to bullets.
Yeah, all you're doing is shifting the color bracket. And the moment that in these games they moved away from enforcing separate brackets for everyone, suddenly you could play with all your friends.
Well, it does mean that you can say
better experience.
You can say, Paul, come play with me. Yes. And we don't get the instance where I just go and use a trainer to make my character and you get a little bit upset at me doing it.
There's where the progression does stay there is you get more horizontal progression. So you do unlock abilities, and as you move, so like something like Diablo, like it has a pretty consistent difficulty. It might go up and down a little bit, and most things will go up and down a little bit. But generally you want to have a consistent level of difficulty through the whole game, and you can just kind of spike up and down. But what it becomes about is I got a new ability. Okay, I'm going to play with it. I got a new ability. I'm going to play with it. And with Borderlands, it's abilities, guns. Like, that's what the progression is. Like, it's more, I'm getting more options available to me. And that's the first part. And I'm going to assume, like most of these games, the end game then becomes about optimizing. So it's like the first part is unlocking shit. The second part is now, okay, I need to beat these things, I need to have some optimal build to do it. And that's what the game becomes. So... Yes,
I feel like I could do that without level.
Yes, you think so, and to a degree you can.
Well, they can't. I mean,
you could.
Like,
you could
a lot of
flick off
games
the number.
now. A lot of games these days actually, like, you know, all your destinies and your divisions and everything. They still have like a progression number that gets bigger, but at a certain point they stop the leveling.
Yeah, so
leveling doesn't matter
because that's the point where it gets to that gear score.
Yeah.
So it's like, and really, it's like once you've hit the cap, that's the point. Like, okay, you now have all the options available to you. So now it's about, how do I just like get gear to optimize that build? And they tend to, at that point, then introduce, I don't think Borderlands is doing this, but they tend to introduce like items that may augment abilities. Like something like Destiny does that and Diablo does that. So then it's about getting builds.
Borderlands 3 does have lots of, like, you're allowed to go in and break down the guns into components now and reconnect things and then slot things and all that. So they should have plenty of that sort of option in there. Anyway,
so someone who likes looter shooters, it's my genre of choice. Seeing that is actually
your genre of choice.
It is. I love my looter shooters. Just look at what I play.
Oh no!
I love them.
You also like truck driving games, even if they're in space.
Yeah, because my elite number gets bigger.
Yeah, you like numbers getting bigger.
I do love numbers getting bigger.
You should just get back into Progress Quest.
No, there needs to be the illusion of no numbers. It's all smoke and mirrors. So seeing that means that I will probably actually play this with people now, where previously every time I've tried to play it, it's like, as soon as there's like the one person, who wants to play a lot of it, they can no longer play with that other person. Yeah. Or it's like, I need to level you up, so they have to go back and drag you up, and it's just not a fun experience.
I hopefully, did they mention anything about mission syncing and stuff like that?
I didn't see too much about that.
But because they're so much focused on getting people parity, imagine that's fine.
Yeah, I would think so.
I mean, I realized that's how I totally fucked up our Dying Light playthrough, because you guys like dropped and I played, like, I started one other mission. Yeah. I didn't even finish it, but because I'd hit that plot point, you guys were always had to play on my save.
Because you were at the beginning of the game. Otherwise,
it's like, fuck. And I think I looked into it, and you can't hack your save in that because it's like server sync. Not fuck. Yeah, doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. We don't care about the PvP. Yeah. Oh man, Dying Light 2 this E3. It'll be good.
Yeah.
I hope it's not too much. Like, I don't want too much of like a sim.
I kind of like where Dying Light went. Like, I'm happy for more Dying Light.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you still haven't got the grappling hook.
No.
You're so close.
No. But now do I just wait for Dying Light 2?
Well, now that we worked out the whole reason you were dropping was because of my shitty cabling in my house.
Oh, we could probably just play again.
We could probably play it again and finish the game. Because we were pretty close to the end.
Game.
Yeah. It's good. And our computers really kill it now. So
They
it runs
will.
so smooth.
Just very quickly.
Oh, no, I wasn't done with Borderlands.
Oh, okay. So, another thing is that they've added now effectively the post office from Destiny 2, where it's like any loot you miss, you can just pick up later. And again, that is actually another quality of life that makes a pretty massive difference.
I didn't see that. I mean, I might have just because I had it playing in the background. So does that include just like if you walk past a chest and didn't open it?
Yeah, so if you pop it open.
But you had to pop it open.
I assume so. I assume you have to actually loot it, and once the roll happens, then if you don't have to pick it up, you can just leave it. And for someone that's played a lot of Destiny 2, that's actually really so because it just means you're not distracted. So I think getting rid of loot ninjaing and then getting an auto pickup will make a pretty big difference to the core loop of that game. So hooray! Like all I really saw was like it's more Borderlands, but with quality of life stuff that I think will make the experience better.
Yeah, a lot of quality. And the thing is, it looks like God. If you had just told me this was just Borderlands 2 with like a new location, well, it's not even that. It's like because they mostly just showed Pandora.
Yeah,
I was like, okay,
yeah, you're right. If it's like, oh, this is like Borderlands 2 remastered, I would have totally believed it.
Because there's a certain level of like old school jank in it, like because they started at the very beginning of the game, like after like a hello, but then it was literally the hello from Claptrap.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh yeah, I remember Claptrap. Here we go. It's like, okay, so we take you down here, and this is the hole. We teach you to jump, like, and then they go, oh, but if you miss it, you can mantle up, and the crowd goes wild. Woo! Like, it's not that mantling isn't hard to put in things. It's just that if you're a AAA shooter, you're expected to have.
And that was just me being relieved. Because I did go play I think pre-sequel, and it is a little hard to play with modern movement mechanics. So just seeing mantling, it's like playing Keen 4 when you're coming from Keen 3.
Oh,
because
rough.
Keen 3 doesn't have ledge grab, and the moment you got ledge grab, you're like, this should have been here the whole time.
It's the reference that everybody gets. And what see, in my head, like you're like I think he's got the right one, but I can't actually tell if I don't remember which Keen was what.
Because Keen Dreams was when they had the art from the Keen, like the new art style, but I don't think they have mantling in yet.
Oh,
so I think it was only 4 when they brought that in.
Okay, and then but the thing is, like, you know, it's just walking down a corridor, listening to Claptrap being Claptrap. I did enjoy at one point he was sneaking and he was doing like, I'm being sneaky, singing a song, and it was a bit obnoxious, but he did then throw himself on the ground and do a bit of a scramble like I was talking about before. I was like, Scrambles! I'm gonna call you Scrambles! I was suddenly excited because it was very, very explicitly for Paul.
Like the whole Thanos key thing.
Yeah,
like,
two seconds of Scrambles. I was like, thank you, Claptrap. I did laugh. And then it's like, I hear there's a loot crate over here, and goes over and like blows up a car, and the car just sort of like this classic video game sort of just pops away.
Yeah.
I'm like, this all feels so old.
Yeah,
like there's nothing wrong with it. And after, I mean, I think it took 6 minutes. I'm like, because I'm literally looking like, God, are we going to get into the... I want to see what the game stuff is to see like if the shootings are different, what the guns are like, and that's what the game's about. I'm looking at my watch. Like, I'm watching this for 8.5 minutes, and okay, now we got some shooting. Okay. You seem to be able to slide a long way with that much run up. But that's okay. That'd be fun. Yeah. I like Bulletstorm.
I thought that the guns did look more interesting. Like there was one they had which was like the guns that you throw. Like instead of reloading, you just throw them away. And like it just turned into a giant bouncy ball. I think they were saying "ow" as it was like bouncing around.
And another one grew legs and ran around and shot people. And...
so like if they really lean into that just sort of absurdist stuff, like I'm happy.
And I quite liked one of the later bosses they showed was in like a club, and there's like speakers, and the speakers sort of like build up a charge and like drop the beat on you. But the guy's shield was a graphic equalizer that went up and down with the music. Like stuff like that was like the design was pretty cool. I want to see more of that. It looked fine. it did like it's very old school with some quality of life. That's what I call it.
Yeah.
And the other big thing they were pushing was what they call EchoCast, which is their Twitch integration.
Yeah.
Which is you stream, you can have some interaction with the audience. They can see all of your loadout, how everything's equipped. When you open chests, they get a chance of winning things and everything. And the cynical part of me hates all this stuff because I see it. And this isn't the worst. What was which Xbox racing game was it where you got like followers? Was it the latest Horizon or something?
It just went, like, I thought Horizon. The last two kind of did it.
Yeah, and you actually like. You get in-game stuff from streaming and from watching streams. And basically all that stuff does is turn part of the gameplay loop into advertising the game.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, they want it there. They want everyone streaming it to Twitch so people watch it and it gets high in Twitch. And so it's advertising. It's making the gameplay loop part of advertising the fucking game.
So
and that drives me mad. But at the same time, well, actually, lots of people love streaming, and this is all really good options for streaming.
This is where a few things clicked into place a little bit for me. So... We didn't mention the new villains, the twins. Didn't like them.
They didn't seem particularly interesting.
They're streamers.
Oh yeah, that's right. That really turned me off.
Yeah. So, but they turned me off. But then I kind of thought, well, maybe this isn't quite for me. Like I feel a little bit like this is a theme which for a younger audience,
yes, it resonates with people that aren't us.
So main villains are streamers, so it will resonate with people that aren't us. Then all this Twitch integration stuff, again, kind of feeds back into the streaming stuff. And then it also being an Epic, like, well, we kind of mentioned before, like, there's this younger demographic that sits on Epic.
Yeah.
And maybe that's actually a better place for it. Like, if this is really the kind of thing they're going for this younger kind of Fortnite crowd, the streaming crowd, maybe it makes more sense to be there. Like, so
yeah, it also plays together. I can buy that.
Yeah. So I still think it should be on everything, but it kind of like clicked a little bit of like, okay, maybe there is something a little more here where it kind of makes sense for the kind of thing they're going for. So the villains, while I looked at them, I was like, well, they're not Handsome Jack because again, I fucking love Handsome Jack. But maybe it's not for me. Maybe there's going to be a whole bunch of other people.
In the trailer, wasn't there a shot of Handsome Jack?
I can't remember him.
Yeah, I don't remember.
So that maybe there'll be a whole bunch of people that love these villains, and I'll always have Handsome Jack, and these new people can have their new villains.
Actually, they're removing Handsome Jack from your life experience.
Oh, yeah. Handsome who?
What?
Oh
God, yeah. I can't remember my dog's name. Just Scrambles.
Scrambles.
Got an update on a dog I rescued like 3 years ago.
Oh
today.
yeah, how's it going?
He's real happy.
Aww.
I called him Spuds. They called him George. Boo.
Spuds is better name. Should have gone with Spuds.
I'm a good dog namer.
Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, that's mostly Borderlands 3.
Yeah.
It seems very safe, but hopefully solid.
Yeah.
Good. Yep. Yes. I suppose let's talk about some games we're playing. Games. I've been playing a lot, actually.
I know, your list is huge, and mine less so.
I actually want to talk about what I hate the most.
Why have you got so many to talk about? Why did you start there?
Oh, because I'm very depressed at the moment, and so I've been playing a lot of video games. You know...
Have you been hate playing video games?
No. Most of these... The only game I've been hate playing is Cuphead, which I think sucks.
Okay.
So, you know, we already know that Paul doesn't like Cuphead.
Well, I didn't like Cuphead.
We did pre-release. We didn't like Cuphead.
Yeah, like we played Cuphead at PAX a couple of years ago. And
but then I played Extermination Force a couple of weeks ago, and I really loved it. And all it is a boss rush game. And I was like, maybe I just give it another shot. Maybe it's on the Switch. I'm a big whore for Switch. Let's face it. I'm a fucking pathetic Switch boy. Okay, let's get out Switch. Yeah. Oh, this does look good. And they're like, fuck, I hate this.
Yeah.
I fucking hate everything about it. I'm like, I'm a couple of bosses into the second island. So it's not like I'm not getting anywhere with it, but it constantly has just like little design things and like you can only shoot in the cardinal directions, yet a lot of things are just off axis. So I'm like, why?
Yeah.
Why is the platform that you have to stand on to shoot, why is it 2 millimeters below the firing line for the boss? Okay. How do I parry something when I have to jump towards it, but I can't see it's parryable until it's falling? Which means I have to jump at something coming down, which means to get the timing right, I basically have to jump before it comes down. Okay. Lots of little things. It's just, but, you know, the art's amazing. And, like, I actually wonder if it'd be a lot more fun with second person. It might be. So maybe we should get Cheryl.
Yeah, don't get me.
Yeah. When maybe just after the wedding, because you'll probably be tired and need a siesta. And I go, hey, Cheryl, while we wait for James to recoup, want to play some Cuphead?
Yeah.
And she'll be like, I'm wired. I'm ready for some... And she'd just get annoyed at me for not being good at bullet hell. Although it's not very bullet helly. It's okay. Speaking of which, you told me to remind you that we needed to talk wedding stuff.
Oh, yeah. Now the time to do it.
Is now the time, James?
So we got most of it sorted out now.
Uh-huh.
So probably you don't need to be there because we're having a tea ceremony first.
So I'm not there for the tea ceremony?
You can be there if you want, but it's generally more of an immediate family thing.
So
Paul,
as immediate family, is there anyone closer?
No.
I mean, we have dark secrets.
Oh, so many.
Remember your third sister?
Remember the one we lost? Yeah.
No one else remembers.
Yeah.
We wiped their minds with our special raising fluid. Anyway.
Yeah.
So, okay, but we can actually talk about this after the show.
We can probably talk about it after the show.
Seems like it's not public business.
There's a rough plan.
Okay. I've been playing shitloads of VR.
Mm-hmm.
I suppose some of this was because I was up the coast and I had a few days there, and I play Beat Saber every single day now.
Yep.
I play it for probably half an hour or so.
Getting your old arms, getting a movie, getting...
It's fun. I don't think, even on... Because I'm doing expert now. It's certainly like... I suppose it's probably better for... Like, you're not really getting up a big cardio thing. But I suppose it's probably good for flexibility and stuff. It's a stretch out.
For like an hour or something, then you're probably doing something.
Yeah, it's certainly not nothing.
Yeah.
It's certainly as active as I would get under with a DDR or something. There's I actually really like some of the really long songs. Like there's a 6.5 minute long one.
I don't know, because I have PC, so we've just been doing custom songs.
So I was thinking about that just today. I was like, man, I really wish I had a VR for PC. I was looking at the new index. I'm like, man, that's too expensive for me. I'm not interested. I've never even considered the possibility of using the PSVR on PC.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, you can do it.
Oh, Jesus Christ, really?
Yeah, there's a couple of apps that are just in the Steam store. They've all got trial versions, so you can test that it works for you. Then it's tracking the motion controllers. That is the difficult. So the headset's pretty compatible. The motion controllers a bit more problem. You need a camera, obviously. The PS camera has a different connection, so you tend to use other cameras. But one of the things that I haven't got into yet, but they recommend is using the Kinect. With the Kinect,
beautiful.
You can do controllerless motion controls.
That's beautiful.
So you can play Beat Saber with nothing in your hands, but they recommend using something in your hands. I'm like, oh, man, I need to start jerry-rigging this shit together and give it a shot.
That sounds cool.
Yeah, because it would be nice to get into the other stuff in Beat Saber.
The Oculus Quest is getting very close.
Yes, it's got some pretty good reviews.
It's getting some real good reviews.
I just feel like it's so volatile at the moment since I'm like happy enough with the PSVR. It seems like I need a lot to move me on.
Well, because it's quite expensive. Like if you
How expensive is the Quest?
If you want the top tier one, which you're going to want for the extra storage, it's $800.
Is that with the controllers?
Whole kit.
Okay, that's not too.
Like
it's
it's not insane. But it's still quite expensive.
But it's also less powerful than any other one, basically.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, I mean, other than phone ones.
I mean, it's a high-end mobile processor.
Yeah.
That's in it. But it's reviewing really well. Apparently, Beat Saber plays really well on it.
So one of the things that I just realized in my thing is like PSVR on there, and so I'm looking into the PSVR hacking community. And one of the things that came up is like people going on, like you just said, the mobile processor, and I thought the Switch, like the Switch's VR, you can play the Switch VR games emulated with other headsets.
Yes.
So they're actually at like good frame rates and good resolutions. And then like, and the whole Dolphin emulator is just VR support. So you can play Wind Waker in VR. And apparently it's very good.
Really?
I'm like, fuck, the future's amazing.
This, yeah.
I feel like I've just spent a lot of time setting stuff up and then 5 minutes playing everything, but sounds cool.
Yeah.
Get in. Anyway, so I'm going to quickly talk about the really good VR game I played. It's a short game. It's called A Fisherman's Tale. In it, you are a wooden puppet. You're a fisherman puppet, and you're in your shack, and you do the same routine every morning, and you work on your model in the middle of the room, and it's the model of the lighthouse that you're in, and you've got a little fisherman puppet in there. Then one morning you wake up and things are a bit different. And without going, so it's basically like it's about 4 or 5 chapters long. Each one's probably like 20 minutes, half an hour at most, if you're really stretching it. So it's quite a short game. And I mean, even then I might be exaggerating some of those times in there. But most of what it's playing with is... So it's sort of like each space is you're going into a different part of the lighthouse, and it's sort of a bit escape roomy. Getting a bit of story, working out how things go, like how things go together. But what it plays with is it plays with recursion and scale.
Oh, you love those things.
I love those things. So that model inside your lighthouse is the lighthouse that you are in.
Okay.
So if you pick up a pen in the world and you go over to the lighthouse and you've taken the roof off it, so if you look up you can see a big version of you, and if you look down you can see a little version of you.
That's cool.
And you drop your pen in the lighthouse,
you get a giant.
You got a giant pen, and vice versa, and all that. And most of everything comes off playing with those ideas.
Can you pick up yourself?
No. But there are some very fun things in this, because it's like, so it's a small environment which also can be a giant environment or a tiny environment, and you recontextualize it all the time and everything. It just played very well. You know, it's teleport motion. Interacting with stuff feels good, and that's pretty much it. So A Fisherman's Tale I played on PSVR. I think it's on other stuff as well. But so that's my review there. Now up to the game that was in the intro, which is my other PSVR game. I think that's the only one I need to talk about. Yeah. BT was great. Super Hot VR is great. There, done.
Yeah.
Okay.
No one's disputing this.
This has got to be one of my most disappointing games of the year. It was because it was on my most anticipated. It's a game called, well, it's either called Ghost Giant or Giant Ghost. Which way do you think it should be around? It's about a very big ghost.
So
not the ghost of a deceased giant.
Yeah, that's right. So
as far as I'm aware.
Okay, about a big ghost.
Yeah.
So it should be Giant Ghost.
No.
Is it Ghost Giant? It's
Ghost Giant.
No, it's wrong. They got their title wrong.
I don't know which way I feel should be right, but all I know is that I have to Google it to get it the right way around. Anyway.
No, because it's like what the ghost describes what follows.
But yeah,
the descriptive word comes first.
A dog ghost or a ghost dog. I might say ghost dog. Oh, but that would be that way, yeah. Oh, fuck it. But if someone said a dog ghost, I'd get it too. It's rough.
I don't like
Come
this.
on, help me, Scrambles. Anyway, so the idea is you are a giant ghost, and there's a small character, and it's in a big, you're in this world of little tiny creatures, and you like open up houses and play around. It's like toy boxy stuff. I love toy boxy stuff. You know, your Nogs or G-Nog and stuff like that. Like, okay, this is going to be a little playground, and scale is always fun in VR. Like Moss, like you're looking at it, going like, okay, so you're helping these little creatures and everything. This game, I fucking hate every second of it, basically. So, open in the world. It just starts with this little. I don't even know what it is. He's a raccoon. I don't care. Whatever. He's a squirrel or something. Whatever. He's an Animal Crossing thing. So, Animal Crossing thing. So, I'm crying and you'll birth from its tears. So, I kind of like that. Kind of like that I made of little kid tears. And he comes to life and he like, oh, hello, Mr. Kid. Oh, God, I'm scared. Oh. Pretty much that's a pretty good impression of the tone of his voice. Oh, yeah, I'm going to go get some fucking seeds for the yard.
Does he cuss?
No, he should. But whenever he's talking, whenever he's doing any action, you can't do anything. You're watching him. And this is... I don't know what age would find this story interesting. No, it's just so much... It's like a Spot goes to the beach kind of story. Oh,
because something like Rick and Morty or Accountant Simulator, like you do have people talking, but then it's like the interaction while they're talking.
Yeah, you can't interact while they're talking.
It's what's fun. It's like seeing responses as you do things.
So even the world, so every level has like a basketball hoop, and there's a basketball somewhere, and you got to throw it in the basketball hoop. So you can't even do that while they're talking because you can't pick up anything during that time. It dims out. So you got to wait. By the way, throwing things in VR, normally shit. When you've got to lob them up to get them to fall into something. Even worse. And the thing, so you throw that basketball, missed.
Have you played Accounting Simulator?
Yeah, I have.
Did you get the basketball part?
Yeah.
Did you? Yeah. You know how I can't coordinate anything. If you do it enough, they just give it to you.
Yeah. I think I got the same thing. It was quite hard,
and they just unlock the achievement and go like, "She was given to you."
Yeah. I think I had the same thing. Yeah. But it's like after you throw it, it takes 5 seconds to respawn again. It's just like. But I need the Chivos. So Anyway, yeah. So it's and then like the whole wanting to interact with the world, other than looking for a few things, because there's a couple like things to find in each level. So I'm sort of like looking in and out, and that's the fun bit. everything you got to do, the character says like, I wish someone would open this door for me. And you open the door. It's like, thanks, Mr. Ghost Giant. I'm a fucking precocious little shit. And like all the interactions are super, super limited and guided, and like, it's so linear and strict. I'm like, the whole point of VR is to explore and feel part of a space and have action and reaction.
See,
and
I noticed having this mental image of just you with a kid, and
it's in the real world.
And the kid's just like, "Oh, Daddy, I just want to go eat. Can you open the fridge? No, I'm gonna open everything for you."
No. Before I open the fridge, I'd just be picking up all interactable objects in the real world and just tossing them in the kid's face just to see what happens. Here we go. Did that? Oh, you do react. Oh, great. I wonder if this pen can work. Actually, that was a bad thing in Borderlands 3, I thought.
Yeah.
So early on, he gets like the first gun and he shoots at these rocks and they go like damage decal on them. Decal disappeared in about 1.5 seconds. I'm like, but it has destructible cover, so that's cool. Anyway. Oh, and the thing that I mentioned very quickly in Borderlands 3, you can sort of like, you can go whoop at barrels and throw them. So if there's an explosive barrel in front of you, you can easily throw it at somebody else and then explode it. That's what we need. We need more barrel interaction. Cause and effect. That's what makes games good. Not me poking at a shack going like, I can't open those things. I'm supposed to only be able to open things that are brass in the game. Okay, so look for anything brass. Okay. Well, that doesn't move. Well, fuck, why did they tell me that? What about, well, that door doesn't, but that door opens. That doesn't have any brass. What the There's no consistency in this game. And I just, it's really cute. It's like somewhere between Psychonauts and Tearaway.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's like got a really cool art style. It's just so limited as a game and very disappointing.
We should make a VR game.
I feel like it would be a lot of work. I feel like one of the reasons why these things don't have that much is because
I actually think
can do anything.
They're actually not that much work.
Let's find out.
Like I got a game running in my headset so fast.
You know, my long-term Paul's depressing driving game might be amazing in VR.
It probably would be. And you just sit there. Probably great on the Quest.
We'll hook it up to like an Arduino with like fan controllers in it, so you can really like when the window's down, like you can really have the wind coming through. It'll be good. Okay. So yes, that was Ghost Giant, which is greatly disappointing to me. James.
So, we'll just stick on VR.
Yeah, you got it.
Yeah.
God, sorry with the VR show so much people. I know it kind of sucks when you don't have it.
And I don't want to talk about this one too much because I've actually only played about 45 minutes of it.
Okay.
But enough to kind of get a feel for it. So this is Space Junkies. And this is a game from Ubisoft, which is like a very slick competitive shooter they've made for VR with a really dumb price point. I think. Oh
God, yes, I saw because you said it's discounted.
Yeah, so discounted, I got it for about $20, which is a perfectly reasonable price for what it is. That was like 70% off. 76% off. Yeah. The game normally goes for like $80-$90. It's expensive. And when this is a online only shooter for people who have VR, yes, this is crossplay. You can play. I was playing against people on PS4. But it is still a competitive shooter for VR, which needs a community. So now is the right time to buy it because there will be the people like me that will play it for like a few weeks and then won't play it anymore, and the community will die off again. So it is very much just like like an arena shooter. But in this one, it's like you're like in a spacesuit, so it's got a lot of verticality, which initially seems like a bad idea. Like, when your game is going to be about flying, lots of up, down, strafing, like, you think you'd enter Vom Town. I found after about 45 minutes of play, I did start to get some VOMs, like some faint VOMs. So I assume that for you, it would be a very sad time.
Quite soon.
It had some clever things where, like, when you strafe left and right, it would actually black out your peripheral vision.
That's kind of standard,
Yeah, so that actually...
A few flying games I've done.
It did help.
Like that.
Like, it's like, I didn't feel like it was, I didn't get kind of like the vertigo of up and down so much. But, yeah, so basically you fly around. Go into arena, has some different game modes, but all the standard ones that you'd expect.
Tap to the sheep.
Yeah,
old man's toboggan.
All that kind of stuff. Most of it's sort of like it's space junkies, so you're out in like asteroids and space
collecting
stations.
junk.
Not really collecting junk. You're just shooting each other.
Oh.
The shooting.
Do they have any goals other than shooting each other? Goals?
They might have some capture the flag stuff in there. I didn't get any of that, unfortunately, because I didn't actually get that many games. So the team size is small. What I was playing was just 2-on-2. And that felt like I could get a game quickly. It's got a cool like arena at the beginning when like you're getting ready for the game, like the ready room, so you can kind of move around and practice things. And there's some guns you can pick up and things like that. What I thought was kind of cool was the guns had a lot of physicality to them.
Mm-hmm.
So if you got like just your standard guns where you just point them and shoot them, and but maybe you shake them to reload them or something like that. Or another one was a shotgun, which was very powerful, but you have to actually reload it. So that involves actually getting your hand, grabbing it, and cocking it. So it isn't just you actually have to, do that. Or a minigun where you have to hold one side of it. So you end up like actually getting your hands in a position like this, where you're holding it and you're kind of aiming it like that. So I felt like it was like doing a good job making these things feel physical, like a slingshot where you have to actually pull it back.
Oh yeah,
to fire it. Yeah, so I had some kind of fun things like that. Pardon me.
You're excused.
Got the burps. Yeah, and so they didn't have too much. They give you random weapons when you play. They do have like some weapons spawning, but it felt like a lot of the time it was just like whatever random weapon I got would kind of do a lot to dictate how I was gonna do.
Play.
So I didn't really get that feeling of like, I know the shotgun's over there. Even though I'm pretty sure they do have some weapon spawn, so that is there. But it was more like, I've just got this random weapon. I'm gonna kind of go with that. Visually, the thing looks pretty good. I mean, because I'm playing on a pretty mid to low tier headset. That's with the Lenovo Explorer. Didn't really have any major problems with it. Like, it looked fine. The tracking was fine. It has this thing where you have to like reach over to kind of change your weapons.
Oh yeah.
And I've now learnt that because I've got inside out tracking, obviously the moment you go behind your head, it can't track it anymore. So it relies on the velocity and kind of things like that. So the secret is to actually go quickly behind, because then it like infers that you're going back further. But if you go slow, it might not infer you've gone back fast enough. So yeah, once I learned that, it's like, okay, cool, I can kind of change. So you have different classes. Classes have some different abilities. Like one of them's like a sword with a shield kind of thing. Some other classes I only just played the one. But my favorite thing is it has dances. But
yeah,
so you finish the match, all like the players are up there, and then you just do whatever dance you want, because it's tracking your arms. So I do like my little jazz hands and do little dabs.
Not dabs. Show us that dab, James. A bit better. No, wrong way.
How do you dab?
You got to go deeper into that.
This way,
what's the pit of your? What's the pit of your elbow called?
Because it's like you're coughing, right? Like you're passing the joint. Isn't that the idea of the dab?
I don't know.
I thought that was the origin of it.
I don't know about hip
hop
culture.
That's what someone told
me.
They told me it was.
I'm not an expert on.
So it's like you're coughing. That's what I thought. I thought it was a drug reference. God, I've turned into the dorky dad. I realize this. I've accepted this a few years ago.
What is the dad?
But we can both be dorky dads.
Not me. I'll just be dorky. Thank you very much.
This is one of the reasons when I have my opinions on the enemies in Borderlands 3, where I feel like my opinion is no longer valid, because I think dabbing is coughing, and you're Googling it right now. Like we are not connected to mainstream youth, Paul, in any way.
The move has long been a feature of. Take a guess.
It's in Mario Kart a lot, isn't it?
Of Japanese popular culture. For decades, regularly appearing in anime and manga. For example, a popular example... in manga, for example. I was like, man, you went, for example. A popular example, is the 1990s anime series Dragon Ball Z. Where the character Gohan occasionally performs the dab move.
Okay.
Other anime series where the dab move appears include the 1990s show Detective Conan, the 2000s show Naruto, Run Like the Wind, James, and the early 2010 show Love Live, among others. The K-pop group Crayon Pop appears to have performed the dab dance in the early 2010s.
Okay.
So...
nothing drug-related.
Yeah.
Okay. There you go. I learned.
Yes. American rapper Bow Wow attempted to explain the origin of the dab dance, saying it derived from the cannabis dabbers community, which started in about 2012 before the dance move. But he was met with opposition from other rappers who immediately took to Twitter to insult him and disprove his claims.
Oh.
The rappers Pee Wee Longway, Jose Galpo, and Rich the Kid contributed to popularizing the dab dance. The more you know. Yeah, we're old.
Yep.
What are we talking? Space Junkies.
Yeah. Anyway, Space Junkies is pretty good if you can get it for $20. Don't pay $70, $80 for it.
I was going to get it, and then I saw it was a multiplayer game, and then I saw it doesn't support Move controllers yet.
Yes, because someone I was playing with had just a controller, PS4, and it didn't sound like that good a time.
I played through Homo Machina. Mm-hmm. Wasn't as sexy as I hoped.
No, it sounds like it'd be good times.
So, So I bought this on the Switch. Mm. I had in my heart, a feeling that this was a mobile game.
With the buttons just a little bit too big?
No, the game is portrait.
Oh. So does it have virtual controls even though it doesn't need them?
It has no controls because it's only touch.
Oh, it's only touch.
If you play it on the TV, you get to use a cursor.
Oh, great.
Otherwise, you literally... It uses the full real estate, so literally it plays sideways.
Okay.
So you have to hold your Switch sideways. I was into it because I love the theming, which is literally a human body. You are like the manager of running the human machine.
Okay.
And so it's all like cross-section, but it's built as like... what's the futurist sort of style? Probably futurism. I don't know. I'm not great at that period of art. But it's this cool, very
like World of Tomorrow.
Yeah,
kind of
sort of World of Tomorrow-y stuff. You know, it's they've turned the machine into physical things that all people in lab coats and everything are running and say, "Oh, we need to pump the lungs. Get the lung pump out." And so it's a cute little story.
Do you drag the lung pump?
Yeah, you would do things like that. So there'd be little puzzles, but they're nothing particularly pressing. They're more cute and quaint. But everything is like creative and fun. And it's basically like, so you wake up, oh, we've got to get the body moving. Like, okay, start up, here we go, get the pulse up, all this. And you go to work and everything. It's like, but you got a date that night. And like you eventually go on the date and it's like you gotta like take a memory photo through the eyes of the woman and like focus on her face. Ah, yes, and takes to the board meeting. He's like, yes, I think this is going very successfully. So it's like very cute, but simple. And I'm like in my head going like, are they gonna fuck?
How much are we gonna automate here?
They do not.
Oh.
I mean, things like they could have done it entirely innocently as well. Like it could have been done. But here's also the thing. I reckon this game is like 40 minutes long.
Yeah.
It's like as a fun like diversion thing to do with like a kid maybe. It's like
how much?
Cute story. I think it was like $5. It's probably cheaper on mobile, and it is 100% on mobile. But yeah, it's like I would like more to be made of this. It's actually the Switch.
What's it called?
Homo Machina. So I did look it up. It does exist on mobile, but you can get the price. Like the human machine.
See if it's on iOS. It is $4.50.
Very similar on that. Yeah, it's attractive. It's cute, but it's not worth much.
Yeah. I feel like it should be $2 if it's 40 minutes.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, it could be. Like there is like sort of free play thing, but I didn't get into it partly because the game crashed in the credits.
Oh, really?
It's like nobody sat through the game. Like I'm not going to restart it. Maybe later. Maybe later. Okay. So other things that have happened. We have had. Do we care about the Mortal Kombat controversy?
Not especially. I don't have a strong opinion. Well, there's just a bunch of skins that cost a lot of money if you buy them all.
Well, they don't. Because you can't buy them. So basically, Mortal Kombat 11 came out. It plays very well from all reports. The single player is hilarious and good. The multiplayer is good. But then they've got all this other stuff, which is stuff that's like the living game that keeps people coming back. The towers, and they're time limited, and you get rewards from the towers. But the towers are kind of balanced in non-fun ways. You got to use consumables to get yourself up to do that. So you have to farm those consumables. You can't actually buy the consumables.
Mm-hmm.
You can't actually buy any of this stuff. There is a store that you can use premium currency for, which has a rotating number of things in there. But you can't just go buy everything. And a lot of stuff is apparently never even going to be in that store. But it just seems that like the design of those currencies doling out and the satisfaction of playing the game is just bad. So it's actually not like a money making thing. It's just like they did a bad balance and design job, and they're working on it. And like I get why they're doing it, because they want people to be playing these games for years, and they want to give them something to do. They don't want people to have everything collected in a weekend, but also you don't want everyone to be annoyed and not wanting to play it.
It's also much easier to start stingy
and get
generous than going the other way.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, from all I took from all those things is that, hey, if I really want to play a Mortal Kombat game, this sounds like it's a fun single player. Which pretty much my interest is going to stop there anyway. They've got a lot of collectibles and stuff, and people were a bit upset and review bombing.
You don't like
review bombing Rocket League too, just because they got bought by Epic. Like, I think we've said it before. I get it. People are frustrated and want a way of voicing their frustration, but it's not good.
Yeah, I don't think it's an efficient way to do it.
No, but there is no way of doing it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, people say if you don't like it, don't buy it. I've never bought a COD. It hasn't changed anything.
Yeah.
It's actually what was like so many things where, like, every day it seems I see someone posting somewhere about like why are all games like this? All these monetized living games and everything. It's like, oh, I just want a game that's like a 5-hour story thing, and like, oh, I don't want something simple. It's like, there's literally thousands.
Yeah.
They're literally coming out every fucking day. And it's like someone complaining that they only make superhero movies. No, they fucking don't. They make thousands of movies a year. You're just only watching superhero movies. Stop it. Stop it.
Yeah.
There's so many things. I get that's, yeah.
I know. We live in a day where there is a phenomenal amount of choice in games.
In everything.
There is no time in gaming like there is now. Like, even you go back to, like, if you think about like the golden age of, like the golden DOS games, and back in the the NES days and the SNES days, like, now we have so much more choice. It's so much more affordable. Like, this is something like, I think a lot of people...
We would get like a abandonware collection of like every game that we could ever think of.
It's
and it was
smaller
like,
than my Steam library.
Yeah, it was like 100 games. And like, my Steam library is 2,500 games.
Yeah, I actually have a abandonware collection that I just generally keep around.
Yeah.
And it's by no means like every DOS game, but it is a lot of DOS games. I think it's sitting at around like 1,500 games or something like that. And that has good coverage of that era. And my Steam library is bigger.
Yeah.
We live in a pretty amazing time. Like, even with all the monetization and all the IAP and things like that, part of the reasons that's there is because games haven't got more expensive. Like, the actual price... In
many ways, they got cheaper.
The price point hasn't actually shifted. Yeah, in some ways, like, if you go back to
the 80s... But the market is much bigger.
I know the market is different,
but then there's so many more people playing for a slice of that market.
So it's like, games, if you went back, like, 20 years ago, you got an equivalent price. It could be like $150, like, for just like your cart down at your Donkey Kong cart, like, of equivalent money. So they've gotten cheaper.
Yeah, but those Harvey Norman sales used to be better.
It used to be really good. Yeah. So I don't know. I think we're in a pretty great time for games. I think
it's whenever someone is complaining about all games being something, I'm like, no, shut up, just shut up. If you're thinking that, if you're frustrated that there's not what you want, you're just not looking.
Yeah,
there's cool shit everywhere. Even where is Joan?
Joan?
Maybe. Okay. So yeah, Mortal Kombat. I mean, it still seems like the core of that game is good. And I think I will get it one day when it's cheap, because I just don't care that much.
Yeah, I'm just not that into fighters.
Yeah, but the story sounds very funny. Because you know much about the story?
No, I don't.
So it's all about time travel.
Okay.
So Kronos, I think, is the new bad girl. She comes in. So you literally have like old Johnny Cage meeting up with young Johnny Cage and calling him problematic.
All right.
It's like, yeah, the Johnny Cage scenes especially just sort of sold me on the concept.
Okay.
I'm like, okay, this is very funny. Like, yeah, it's one of those, the Mortal Kombat lore is one of the things that is serious but also incredibly silly, and it is willing to embrace both things at the same time, which I think is the best way of doing that stuff. It's like, yeah, no one can really get into this as like serious hardcore stuff. It's like metal music. Anyone that thinks metal music is serious and dark, it's like, no, it's one of the funniest things around. Just enjoy yourself. Yes, Rob Zombie. Oh no, you know what? I think Rob Zombie is very funny, and then I wonder if he's meaning to be.
Is he playing it straight?
Yeah, I don't know. Sometimes when he talks about his movies, of which I mostly really like.
Yeah, and he does have very good movies.
Yeah, it's like, but I just wonder if he gets them sometimes.
What are his bad movies?
I wasn't a big fan of his Halloween.
Yeah, I was thinking maybe Halloween, but I still thought Halloween was fine. I don't really.
There's a few that I haven't seen.
Yeah,
I think the last one.
I don't think I saw the last one.
Well, the next one it's coming out is a sequel to The Devil's Rejects.
Oh, I struggled with that.
Oh, that's my favorite one.
Yeah, no, it's good. I don't mean struggle in a bad way. I mean it's very effective.
Yes, but I also am just like sequels because that's also technically a sequel to House of a Thousand Corpses, which is very much not that movie.
Yeah, yes.
I'm like, oh, what's the third one going to be? I have no idea. It could be great, could be terrible. I really don't know. And as I said, I don't know if he knows. But that's part of the fun, isn't it? Watched a movie today, American Mary, because the directors are these two twin sisters, and they were on a podcast, which I may as well say, which is Switchblade Sisters, which is female directors that come in and talk about a genre film they love. And I started listening to it because I looked through the list to go, okay, what's one to try? Well, these two sisters I haven't heard of talking about Dead Ringers. Like, I'll listen to some people talking about Dead Ringers. Here we go. So they sounded pretty cool. And yeah, it was this was supposed to be like body horror. And it was almost a pitch I made a few years ago, which was a surgeonarium where all your surgical dreams come true.
Yes.
But in this case, it was more about a med student that got into doing body modification on people. I'm like, I get it.
I don't like body horror.
It's not that body horror-y. But do you like Dead Ringers?
I haven't seen Dead Ringers.
You haven't seen Dead Ringers?
No.
You haven't seen Dead Ringers?
No,
James.
you've told me about it.
James, you should watch Dead Ringers with me.
I should.
You want to do a
watch it on the
Cronenberg Holy Trinity day with me?
Let's do it on the weekend.
The whole trilogy?
Sure.
Videodrome, Naked Lunch, Dead Ringers.
Do we have to watch Naked Lunch?
Oh, yeah.
Although I haven't seen, maybe it'd be interesting watching it now. It has been a long time since I have seen Naked Lunch.
James, as it is one of my favorite films, I'd say it's no easier of a watch. That's what's so good about it. It's a challenging watch. That's what some movies are good for.
I don't think
they can't all just be Jumanji Welcome to the Jungle.
Oh, I wish.
Some things require some effort on the viewer's part.
I really did like New Jumanji.
The thing is, like, it's quite well liked around the place.
Yeah.
And, like, I am not playing, like, 'cause, you know, like, people like to play up that I hate everything. I actually love almost everything. I genuinely just did not smile at, like, anything in that movie. I'm watching it going, like,
good time.
This is so trite and shot badly
Jack Black.
and boring. And then everyone's like, oh, it's great. It was a really good fun time. I'm like, well, now I feel kind of like, I was up for a fun time. I see the trailer for that new Fast and the Furious spin-off, and I go like, oh.
What, Sonic?
No. That's on the list.
That's on the list.
Yeah. Like, no, the one with The Rock and Jason Statham. I'm like, I think I'm going to see that first day. That looks like a lot of fun. But then people are like, oh, yeah, Jumanji 2 was good. I'm like, no, it wasn't. There's nothing good. Let me write an essay. Here we go. Let's watch it together scene by scene and discuss all the ways in which it is wrong. This is how I enjoy myself sometimes. Game of Thrones, I write it with a pen and paper, and I just go, illogical, badly, no character development, ignoring previous character development, Deus Ex Machina, not in a good Coen Brothers way. If you've never seen Hudsucker Proxy,
It's a good movie.
Best Deus Ex Machina in history.
Yep. It is a good movie.
I love how you can link all this bullshit together.
One of my favorites of theirs.
Hudsucker. Yeah, it's greatly underrated.
It's, for kids.
For kids, yeah.
Yeah.
If you've never seen His Girl Friday, it's a good companion piece to watch with it.
I haven't.
It still holds up. It's a pretty good film. Anyway, you could probably talk about video. I mean, see, I always want to do like a filmy thing, but there's so many film podcasts. I mean, there's a lot of video game podcasts too, but we're already wasting our time with one of those. We can't waste our time with a film one as well. I do have a film one I'm working on elsewhere, but I don't know if it'll ever get off the ground.
It is a good way to get me to actually watch film again.
Get you to do it. Yeah.
Because I don't watch as many movies these days.
What if we made a film podcast called James Tied to a Chair?
You just make me watch something. Oh, it's about the only reaction thing I do.
Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah. I played an adventure game I can finally talk about.
Oh, yes, the one you weren't allowed to talk about last time.
Yeah, so I'll talk about it now. Guard Duty. I've got to try and remember what I thought about it.
What did you think about it?
I thought it was pretty good. So
what was it like?
It reminded me a lot of maybe...
Use a reference from the last 10 years.
Oh, shit. I was going to say Discworld. See, I don't even really want to say, like, not even Paradigm.
See, I thought you were going to say Lure of the Temptress.
No, not Lure of the Temptress. No. It made me think of, like, Simon the Sorcerer. That kind of era of where...
Is it voiced?
Yes, it's voiced.
It's old school adventure.
It's old school adventure, and it makes you think of like old British adventure games. Mm-hmm. That's the vibe that I get from it, where it's kind of medieval and a little bit silly, and that's where I get kind of the Discworld kind of vibes coming through. So it's very nostalgic for that era, but it actually has a lot of modern design in it. So it ends up kind of like. It's like it's not a hard game. At no point in this game was I was stuck. I think I finished it in...
What about compared to something like Unavowed?
Easier than Unavowed.
Ooh. So basically just click next.
Yeah, like it's not... There's no point in this game. The puzzle design I thought was very... Like there was no kind of nothing right. It was one of those things where often you'd see the solution before you found the item. Yeah. So like in that...
I really dislike that in games.
So because it was so easy... I just sort of didn't really care that much.
Yeah.
Like I thought, look, I'm here for like a casual experience.
Focus on the writing and the feeling.
And the characters, like it's got that kind of down on your luck, dumpy character who's a bit of a dork, but he's a little bit lovable. And it's a very kind of starts off like a very kind of standard story of like princess missing. Like you get drunk at night and you wake up and the princess is gone. And you're a guard. And it's like, I'm probably going to go. The knights were sent out to go look for her, but they're incompetent. So I probably should go look for her. And, but I can't get out of the town because I don't have my uniform. Where's my uniform? So
it's in the cupboard.
Yeah, like that's sort of the... But how do I get into the cupboard?
I turn the handle. This is... I really have no self-awareness at all.
One of the things I liked is because you start off, you're drunk, and then you end up, for whatever reason, getting like, I think a beehive stuck on your head and attacked by bees.
Okay.
And so your face is all swelled up.
Oh, fun.
So the voice is all muffled. It's still fully voiced. Yeah, but it's like, that's what it sounds like. So for a good, like maybe the first quarter of the game, this is what your character says.
Oh, fun.
And so you walk around trying, so the first part is I can't talk to anyone. How can I fix my bee face? So just an example of like the kind of tone that this thing is.
Yeah, it sounds...
that part I actually really did enjoy. Where it's like I felt like it was a bit more modern was it just didn't really let you screw it up to the point of like it just wouldn't let you leave areas. Like the character like would say like, oh, I don't think I'm done here yet.
Oh, okay.
Because I don't need to go back there if I don't need to. Like, and I kind of appreciated it.
Is it almost like, to a degree, Goblins-ish, where it's like you finish this screen and move on, you don't necessarily come back to that screen?
No, you do come back. Okay. So yeah, it's not quite like that. It's more like if you enter an area and there's some things to do, it's not going to let you wander off until you do it, which I just kind of appreciated. So it just kept the whole thing kind of more streamlined.
Yeah. You're not going to miss something in a scene.
No. But this game also it's like set over 2 times. So this is part of the. It's not a spoiler because they talk about it. It's one of the things. So it's also like there's future characters and there's also past characters. So it does thematically change a bit. Even mechanically changes a little bit. Mm-hmm. Like when you do play the other era, it's almost like the puzzles and the interface works differently. Like it actually changes to more of like a context sensitive. You just click and stuff happens. Where before it's like you have items that you actually use. So they kind of change it a little bit. I felt, because I played through the whole thing, I finished it. Mm-hmm. I felt like maybe the last third, it didn't feel as fleshed out as the first kind of, like I felt the beginning was really solid. I really enjoyed it. The last part, I felt like there could have probably been another act. Like, it felt like it just kind of wrapped up a little bit too fast. But yeah, like I think if you want to play like a old school adventure game, which feels nostalgic, but actually is, it's not going to be taxing. It's got some good writing. The art's very nice. I think it's just like made in an adventure game studio. Like that kind of like pixelated look. Yeah, like little gaming references. So they're like, you'll see little references to Monkey Island or, there's little things, but not too
obscure.
Not too on the nose. Like,
Do you ask about some fine leather jackets?
I think there is a little like fine leather jackets thing in there.
That's always a good reference.
Yeah, like, and then there's also sort of like, they might make a comment about that's like overplayed. Like, so it's like, yeah. So I do recommend checking it out. Like, if you're into old adventure games, just don't expect this thing to be Paradigm, right? Like, it's not like it's like Paradigm.
Paradigm's so good.
Well, the thing is, I prefer this to Paradigm.
Yeah, but there's no beatsies in this.
There is no beatsies in it. But that's probably because I just wanted more of a traditional. I wanted something to make me feel like it did when I was a kid.
Yeah, Paradigm is. I mean, I've never said it to Jacob directly, but I just think of it as Mighty Boosh the game.
Yeah. And I think Paradigm is very much being its own thing. Yeah. Like, it's and which I'm really glad for. Where this felt more like a throwback, but a good throwback. And I think especially if you're someone who's not that into adventure games, you just don't want to get stuck. Just play, and you can knock it out in a weekend. So that was Guard Duty. I had a good time with it.
Cool.
I recommend it.
I should talk about the Swords of Ditto because I put it in the intro.
You did.
And also, it's a very good game. So the Swords of Ditto, it's been out for a while. They're just about to launch with sort of a DLC pack, which is the Curse of Mormo. I think that's what it's called, or Mormo's Curse. And I haven't played the original game. I've only just been playing it review copy on the Switch. Which I'm pretty bloody sure the embargo's up. Yeah, it is because it's out. It's out.
Yeah.
Now. So the game is ostensibly a Zelda-like, top down. Graphically, it's very cartoony, and I have to say, on the Switch, one of the best looking games on the Switch. It's like the weight of the line work is just perfect for the screen, so everything looks super sharp. It's bright, it's colorful, like it's just really bold on screen. I really just like looking at the thing. So the world's in chaos. There's all evil witch person, and you are granted the Sword of Ditto, and you are they actually call you the Sword of Ditto or something. I'm not sure. I never pay that much attention to lore. And basically, you go in to fight the witch, and she just kills you instantly. And then I think it's 100 years pass. And then someone else gets the sword. And then you play that person. And then basically I think you've got 48 hours before you have to fight the witch. And in that time you've got time to try and power up and solve things in the world and everything. And then if you die, you die. And 100 years pass, someone else gets the sword.
Okay.
So interesting things. So I remember when this came out, I heard a bit of criticism. Because every time there's 100 years pass, the world re-rolls. It's randomized. And it's frustrating because people want to play through and they fuck up and get killed by a slime, and the whole game basically starts again. Except what I feel is that we have a lot of Zelda games, and one of the things that's fun about Zelda is exploring the world. This game is almost exclusively exploring the world. And those random areas aren't just like fields with trees in them. They have lots of quite unique things that can be there. They're sometimes not. The directions of things are mixed up. It feels quite handcrafted even though it's not, because it just has a lot of content that is unique. But also you collect badges in the game, and those badges are starting characters that have starting equipment and starting abilities and starting stats. As you play with those people, you'll also up those badge levels. So next time you choose that person to play, they'll be a little bit more powerful. Okay. The sword is the main experience thing.
So is that the thing that gets more powerful?
So the sword never gets weaker again. So it always is. So, you play up to level 4, then you die, the new character starts and they're level 4 because they have the level 4 sword.
Oh, okay. So it's not like you're resetting totally every time.
Yes, and you also start with starting equipment, so you don't lose the basic things you can do. But also because it has, a playthrough, you can spend a couple of hours on it. they have like stickers, and stickers you can affix to the body to give you like special traits.
Okay.
Those go to nothing when you restart, but you can find them, start collecting them basically first screen.
Yeah.
So you very quickly roguelike, just like, I'm going to make a build, I'm going to try and get this, I can go buy that, I'll just go get some money, and it means that you start getting a huge amount of possibilities that you can combine and start playing with different builds and exploring this world very easily. And that's what the game is about. So if you're not interested in that sort of iteration and trying and experimenting with different builds where something might just go wrong, and you have that is what this game is about. They don't just want to make a Zelda. So you're supposed to go out and find the ancient toys. So there's like 4 dungeons you're supposed to go to before you fight her, but you just level up on the way. And there's a lot of like secret dungeons. Go into a dungeon and they'll have constraints at the beginning. It's like, in this dungeon you can't roll or something like that. Just sort of all those random things where most dungeons really will have like a sticker and some money at the end. You're like, no, I don't want to do that. I'll just go out. There'll be a bunch of other ones for me to find. So it's it's a slightly different loop to anything else I've played.
So what's the DLC?
I don't know, because it's integrated in the game.
Okay.
I think it's just more content.
Okay.
So because I haven't played the base, I can't tell you what's different in the DLC. So it's hard to tell. Because as I say, like, I wander around, and I think I've done 3 or 4 lives. And I feel like I show at least half the map off each time. And that map feels completely different. And there's like, everyone's like, there's a sort of like a Stonehenge I've seen twice. And like, there's a lot of village shacks. And there's people around that give you missions. And so that's one way of getting experience. And you sort of think like, well, if I die, how am I going to give this person 11 mushrooms in 100 years? Well, you don't. Because they're just randomized missions. It's like, go and get me a bunch of these. And so it's a reason to continue exploring and going out and pushing out on the map. And it just all sort of works in service of itself. And it's cute and it's kind of funny. I mean, not like laugh out joke, but just like cute designs doing cool things. Pretty readable. And the only thing, maybe the combat can be a little bit too simplistic. But then it's just got weird things like... So on a screen, there'll be any number of enemies, and one of those enemies will have a crown symbol. I didn't know what that meant. We kill that enemy, and the crown goes to somebody else. A little beam goes over. So whoever has the crown drops loot as you hit them.
Oh, so it's like the order you want to...
So it's sort of like, if you want to maximize the amount of coins and everything you're getting, you focus on them and you avoid the other ones. So it's just like, there's just lots of little cute ideas through it where I'm like, this is deep enough that I'm not just doing the same thing rote each time. I'm investigating things and finding out little secrets of ways to, like, hey, if I go down the bottom and find the beach, I can do this, and that always gives me a pretty good XP boost and stuff like that. I mean, I'm only a few hours in, so I can't tell you overall, but yeah, it's been really cool.
Okay.
It's a slightly different loop for that kind of game, which is fun.
Because I was eyeing that one up. It looked very pretty. It looked very cute.
Actually, it looks beautiful on the Switch
and
screen.
how much was it?
I had it for review, so I can't tell you the price. And that's actually something that always annoys me on there. If you have something,
you can't actually see the
check
price.
the price anymore. It's like, god damn it. I think it would be between 20 and 30, I'd imagine. So yes, Sword of Ditto, Mormo's Curse. I've also been playing through Box Boy and Box Girl.
Oh, how is that?
I find that game really weird. I feel like it would be great 2-player.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of the point.
Yeah, because you can play 2-player either with 2 people or solo, where you just switch between the characters. I'm just going through the single levels at the moment because I'm hoping I can do the 2-player with 2 people. The puzzles are generally like, nothing's got taxing yet. I'm like 8-9 worlds in. It's like, okay. But the one design, like, it's fun, but not taxing. But sometimes that's what you want. Like, not every game needs to be Bubba as you.
Yeah, I don't think I told you that I did try to play Bubba as you.
Yeah?
Yeah, not for me.
How far did you get?
This
isn't a judgment.
It was really not far. I think it was like maybe 5 or 6 levels in.
Oh boy, yeah.
No, I just didn't enjoy it. Like, in practice, it sounded great.
Man, I've been hearing like some hints about things that I haven't got up to yet, and it sounds unbelievable.
Yeah, it was just like, on paper it all sounded great, but when I actually went to like that as a puzzle mechanic, I did not have a good time. I didn't enjoy it.
Maybe you need like to play it with somebody.
Well, no, because Cheryl was watching me play it, and we almost fought. Like she, we don't fight, and like she was getting real shitty, and eventually walked away in a huff. So no, Because my thought was...
Was she just annoyed at you not getting things? Or,
And so my thought was like, oh, this could be a fun puzzle game to put on the TV and we both play it. After that little encounter, I went, nope. There's nope out of this.
I should borrow Cheryl to game more. I need someone in tune with me sometimes. But what I find interesting is that every level has a crown or sometimes multiple crowns to collect.
Yeah.
And also it grades you on how many boxes you use to get through it. Because the whole thing in Box Boy is that you're a box, but you can grow boxes out of you. And for various... Like, pretty much every world has its own theme.
Yeah.
But whilst they tell you, like, on the menu, if you push a button, how many boxes, like, the limits are, you can't really see that in game. You also can't really check how many boxes you use, clearly.
That seems like an important piece of
information. And also,
information.
some levels, I am 100% certain, you can't get the box limit if you get the crowns also, because you have to use a few extra boxes to get it where the crown is.
Okay. So
you have to go through once and get the crown and then just restart it and do it without getting the crown. And you get... Because normally hitting the box limit isn't hard. Just sometimes you can't do it. Then once you 100% everything in a world, then it gives you like the real unlock thing where it grades you per level and it's time and like minimum number of boxes. And I'm not actually interested in engaging in that at the moment. But it's one of those things where like, this is the third iteration and I thought they'd be a little bit tighter with it now.
You got to be real into that game to care about speed running it and doing minimum boxes and like
I don't know what I get from it. I did find the costumes good because one of the currencies gives you like a little capsule machine. You get costumes, so you can dress up both of them. The guy currently has an antenna, snorkel, a big mustache, and a cape, and the girl has a punk rock hairdo, like a bandana, and like a superhero mask and tentacles.
Okay,
I'm like,
it's a good combo.
I got some pretty cool boxes here. I like this stupid shit. It makes the game just a little bit more. Yeah, but it's. I think it would shine as that. But yeah, I'm just kind of disappointed that they're not more polished.
You think after the third one that
and especially since it is a black and white minimalist thing, getting that information readable on the screen, like why isn't there just a counter in the corner that shows like the level, like the box and your current like number of medals, and then your box is going up?
Yeah,
like I solved it. Let's spend 2 hours prototyping different ways that those symbols can look. Okay, that sounds good.
Done.
We've done it, James. We've solved Box Boy and Box Girl. But yeah, it seems okay so far. Also, I need to talk about Dawn of Survivors, which I bought because it launched at $1.60 on the Switch.
Oh, one of those games.
And I downloaded it, and then it's like, make your account with your email address. I'm like,
isn't this a mobile game?
It's 100%.
Yeah,
because it didn't look awful in the screenshots. I'm like, I just want to see what this is. I did not want to give them my email address, so I almost didn't play it at all.
Yeah.
It's a terrible mobile, just like survival thing. But hey, it's probably worth $1.60. But I also bought Dreams. I've been playing around with that. But
that's out now, is it?
Yeah, the early access is out, yeah. And I don't remember because I didn't try it in the beta, but I tried playing it with the Move controllers. Really weird interface with that, but kind of good. It'll be good for some things. You'll want to use both, I think.
Yeah. I would think that like sculpting or something like that, you might want the...
Well, I think sculpting will be Move controllers in 3D.
Yes,
in VR. Yeah, because there's no VR support yet.
I thought, okay.
But yeah, once that's in, it's like, maybe I'll be able to do a bit more art in that when I can treat it as a 3D object.
I would like to have a jam. We should just do that. Like when it's like out, we'll do like a weekend. Let's just see what we can make in a weekend.
Yeah, I think I might just try to do like a tutorial every day or two. And just slowly get through and get an understanding of how the systems work.
Because I remember when I started to scratch beneath the surface of like what you could do with it. I was like, oh, okay.
It's
there's stuff
crazy.
Here.
It's interesting. And some people just making... Because the thing is, like, you don't have to make games out of it. You can and that's kind of the thing. You're supposed to make experiences. So it could be any number of things. It could just be a short animation. It could be music. It could be just me yelling at somebody.
Do one of your
Could we make a Dreams podcast? You can only view the podcast in Dreams.
We can give it a go, buddy.
Let's be the first.
Give it a
go. Okay. There's a game I have that I've only got to check, but I bought to play with you. Well, with more than you two. I've wanted it for ages, and I just got it because
What is it?
I was going on the holidays, and I was playing stuff with other people. Like I tried to get them, but they didn't.
Yeah.
Called Heavy Burger.
All right, I'm already interested.
So take Nidhogg.
Yep.
as in you got screens, you want to get to the end to win.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Take Smash TV.
Yes.
But each screen is a different classic video game.
Oh, okay.
So literally you win and you get off the edge. And the camera pulls out. You're in a 3D arcade. It moves to the next arcade cabinet. And goes in.
So almost like competitive WarioWare, or
kinda, but it's still always you're still using these characters that can shoot and stuff. But you might be in a different genre.
All right, now that sounds cool.
It's really stylish. It's really funky. It's not released in Australia. I had to buy it from the US.
Yeah.
But I really want to play it.
Heavy Burger.
Heavy Burger, yes.
See, I was expecting
it's a company that has been doing a lot of retro game ports. And they said, like, well, we're just going to take all those and put them in a new game. And, like, this remix craziness. It's cool.
Cool. Anyway,
but we can go into that more later.
What happened to Nintendo Remix?
It just came out. And they should do a Switch version.
Yeah, they should. That looks pretty cool.
Yeah. I also had... I played a bunch of Hyper Jam when I was up the coast.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, because that finally came out. It was Australian-based sort of, like, beat 'em up. It was because the people I was playing was very mixed. It was like someone that used to play a lot of games and someone that didn't really play games, and someone that plays games a little bit. Everyone got it after like one round.
Cool.
It was great because it's 80s themed. You pick up weapons and shoot, and it's just got. So whoever wins a round, because it's just one life, first person to so it gets called. Whoever comes last gets to pick a perk at the beginning, and there's 4 perks, but they get to pick it first. And whoever came first has to pick the last perk.
So a bit of self-balancing kind of.
So, like, I have never had a round that didn't have, if not, and then once the person's like at the winning condition, they have to survive. They have to just be the winner the next round. So almost every game I've ever played has 3, if not everyone, on that last thing by the end, because it just self-balances so well. Yeah. So skill-wise, it sort of just works its way out. Because the person that's the worst will like. They'll just pick the perks that work together and like I'm gonna. Whereas the person at the end is just stuck with whatever random bullshit. It's a really slick thing. And there's because you've got melee weapons, firing weapons, but anything that shines a projectile you can reflect. It's just very readable, very fun, cool aesthetics, good music. It's a good little couch multiplayer game. I've played it for years at PAX and it's finally out. So that's nice. I'm playing it on PS4.
Cool.
Yeah, I think it might be on Xbox as well, but definitely on PS4. Okay, so I guess the only thing here that we haven't spoken about, I've even mentioned most of my bullshit things, which I was possibly going to skip. Oh yeah, did you watch that Star Citizen thing this week? Where they went to the city planet?
I played Star Citizen.
Did you go to the city planet?
I tried to. I couldn't land.
It's incredibly impressive looking. And I don't believe it.
Oh, I believe it.
No, I mean, like, I believe it as in, like, it exists. You can go there. But I don't believe there's any reason to go there.
Oh, no. But that's Star Citizen.
I don't think there will ever be.
No, but that's 100% Star Citizen.
Like, making a planet that's an entire city and you can go everywhere in that entire city is just, like... Even looking at, like, the scale of Beyond Good and Evil 2, when we look at that and we go, like, what's the fucking point of this?
Well, my understanding
was... It's 1,000 times worse than Star Citizen.
It's a city, but you're still... like in a small area. Like I don't think you can go to anywhere in the world.
They said that you can, but you may not be able to enter any buildings.
Okay, yeah, no, I believe that. Like city generation,
can be some pretty good
city
stuff,
generation is pretty good. So like I don't
doubt that they've built the thing.
Look, from what I saw,
just doubt they've
like with the event, like I saw it and it's like it's good generation tech. But like some of the stuff that I'm seeing that we're getting out of like city generation and like these kind of very efficient ways of processing many things at once, I'm already seeing some cool stuff. So nothing that I saw was like, oh wow, it's like this is impossible or in the future. It was more, all right, so Star Citizen has some cool tech. Why? Like,
I also just like
it's so one of the pillars of Star Citizen is permanency. Right?
Yes.
So they have this thing like there's object permanence to the point where you can go anywhere on a planet, and if you have a pocket watch, and you can put it down, and it will always be there forever. That pocket watch will be on that planet stored somewhere forever. This is one of the pillars of what Star Citizen is. But why? Like there's so much of Star Citizen is that it's sort of yes. This is fantastic.
You can do it. You can store it.
But the level of complexity that they're adding to the game to make this happen... For what? Like, what's the gain? Like,
is that pocket watch there for all players?
yeah, like it's just there forever. There's a pocket watch there. Object permanence.
Yeah.
But that's like Star Citizen through and through. Like I envision Star Citizen when it comes out to be basically 4 or 5 really cool pieces of tech that don't really synergize in any way, shape, or form.
It really annoys me when people call Star Citizen a scam. Because it's the furthest thing from a scam.
It's not
It's
a scam.
a clusterfuck.
Yeah.
It's a very different thing. The problem is they are spending the money.
Yeah.
And they're spending it on insane things.
Yeah. The lean pragmatist in me that likes to make games or anything with like we're trimming as much fat as possible and focusing in on what is important and only spending development time on things which bring value to the product, looks at Star Citizen and gets very, very angry.
I love that it exists, though. How, like, it just, it's like Zod or whatever in Fifth Element. He's just adding so much chaos and beauty to the industry. Like, and I mean, I'm sure some of this tech could be used one day for a good game.
They've got their new flight model in. They have, after 8 years, they've got a flight model, finally. This is apparently it.
It's surprising, because Squadron 42 is like a thing that's supposed to come out not that far. And
I think it's like next year.
A new flight model.
The flight model.
Seems like that's the thing you need before you start designing like the scenarios in the game.
You'd think so.
Okay. Anyway, Star Citizen, it's there. So that kind of brings us to the end. Is there anything we want to talk about before we then get into our photographs discussion?
No.
Okay.
No, I think
so thank you for watching and listening to 8.5bit. You can head to our website, 8.5bit.com, Twitter and Facebook. Please like and share you like on that. Subscribe to us on iTunes, whatever you want. Join us on Discord.
Yeah. You could be, I don't think anyone's in there at the moment.
We didn't advertise.
No.
It's all good. It's a different night we normally record.
Yeah. But normally Wednesday night.
But normally we only get two
or three. But yeah, welcome to jump in if you want.
So we're going to talk about Photographs Puzzle Stories. It's a mobile game if you haven't played it. It's really, really interesting narratively, which is why we're talking about it, and everything we say is a spoiler. But, I mean, if you don't really have any interest in buying a mobile game and doing it, you might get a kick out of what the fuck this thing is. And, if we talk about the first story and you're like, oh, okay, that is interesting. Maybe go... It's 5 stories, so it might be worth talking about. So, thanks for watching. Goodbye. And we're just going to keep talking. So, I might... Yeah, I'll do that click thing that he just did.
Thing.
I'll put the 8.5-bit thing, and now it's gone.
Yeah.
And welcome back, James.
I'm just going to terminate the chat as well.
What?
My phone's about dead anyway.
Oh, that sounds fun.
No one's in there.
Goodbye, chat. Okay. So, Photographs Puzzle Stories. This is a game that I recommended you play because I found it very, very interesting on different ways.
Do you have the messages
that you sent? I'm sure I can pull them up. Let us see.
Let's see what the messages that I sent you. Because it was late that I sent them. What do they say? Scrolling through the dick pics.
We talked a bit. PAX things.
Yeah.
That's right. PAX is happening in this year. Who thought it would happen? Okay. Talked about Marvel. God, why do we talk? That's we seem to be talking about that. Okay. Fuck you for making me play Photographs. Bounce between thinking it's mildly interesting and hating it. But I want to finish this 5th person so I can see how it ends. But goddamn, I hate some of these puzzles. And then that was about 12:30 at night. Then at 1:10. Got the last part now. Still haven't finished it though, but will later. Okay, sorry about the ranty message, and then a bit of stuff about what we'll talk about now. Okay.
Yeah, but that emotional response was part of my thoughts on Photographs.
So so I suppose to give people a little bit of an out if they do want to go do that, let's just talk about the first story first.
Yes, yeah.
Which is in many ways maybe the best integration of the two elements of storytelling and the puzzles. Yeah. Because one of the things I was saying in the previous show that the puzzles integrate with the actual storytelling, which I find very satisfying, and it's a very difficult thing to do.
I think, without talking too much about the other ones,
yes,
this one being early, I don't know if it was the right call.
Why is that?
So, being about 5 different characters, this was the most sympathetic one. And I
feel like that was good because otherwise you might just turn people off.
Maybe. And we'll get to reasons why later, but I feel like opening with the most sympathetic may not have been the right choice for setting the tone of my response to the following.
So is it a grandpa and granddaughter or father and daughter?
I thought it was grandpa and granddaughter,
Okay.
but there's some relationship.
So-
He's quite old with a big bushy beard.
Yeah,
so I kinda
he's
go
an
grandpa.
alchemist.
Yeah.
He, he works in potion and he lives with his granddaughter, and they're having a wonderful time. They're setting up a business. They're learning, and as this game goes, it's a sliding movement game. Basically, whenever you push a direction on the phone, both characters will move in the direction. You have to get them both to a goal. I think I mentioned in the original show, the twist is that you have to use the grandfather to sort of put the girl in a position where she can get to her goal, and then you go to your goal. Oh, well, the grandfather goes to his goal. So it becomes this symbiotic relationship between the two. He's always helping her get where she needs to in life. And then, whilst going and picking herbs, she picks a bad one, becomes very, very sick, and he starts to try to develop a cure. Dogs are very...
They really went in the room.
So.
Yeah.
Long story short, well, not that long a story, the cure does work, and then it doesn't work.
Yes.
And she goes fucking mad and kills herself.
Yeah, because they cure the cat first, I think. Yeah. But then the cat goes bad.
They experiment on the cat, yeah. And I was like,
yeah.
oh, animal cruelty, don't know if I can be that.
Yeah. And so then she goes bad, but instead of hurting anyone, she kills herself.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the way this plays out in the puzzles is that, well, at first... it becomes basically collecting the ingredients for potions and everything. Things become more dangerous. She then starts moving the opposite direction of the grandfather. And basically the madness then that, like, she's unpredictable, and he's trying to work with her, but they can't move together in life anymore. And then she dies in the story, and he dies saying he wished he'd never cured her.
Yes. Yeah.
Now, every one of these stories ends with a character making a wish. Now, we're jumping to the end of the very game here. End of the whole thing. At the very end, you get to compare all these stories and pick one. And they really stick by the pick one thing. The only way you're picking another one is by playing through the entire game again on a different profile.
And this is why, because you have to make the comparison where that the first one, because it is such a sympathetic story. Because I remember you commented, like when you talked about last time, that you said, like, there are multiple endings, but everyone you've spoken to has picked the same one.
Every single video that has a playthrough of this game ends with everyone picking the Alchemist. I picked the Alchemist like a fool.
I tried to pick the Alchemist, but that last puzzle was fucking hard, and I rage quit. And then when I came back...
Oh, you could pick again?
I could pick again.
So
I could have at least looked at all of them.
Oh, if I knew that trick, that would be good. Okay, so basically what happens is that you grant the wish... and you play through the story again from the point of not curing her. So you decide not to cure your granddaughter. Instead, you have a lovely time. You go out together. And the puzzles become simplified again. You work with the granddaughter. But the twist at the end is that the grandfather uses the granddaughter to get to his goal first. And then she goes in second. And in the story, she just dies sort of peacefully. And then that story continues, and there's sort of a nice sort of acoustic song that goes with the credits. And he continues working on the cure. He cures it for real. Then he starts dispensing that cure as an alchemist by where she died, by her grave. So everyone that needs this cure... play like pilgrimages to his granddaughter's grave and like pays thanks and gets cured, and it's a very positive thing. And that, I think, might be the one happy thing in the game.
Because them other ones.
So we have one other one that we got the
So that was the which is probably actually my favorite story. So that was the one.
I like them all to a degree.
And I think maybe I did like how the mechanics kind of integrated into this one as well. So this one...
Yeah, I think it's very tightly done.
So this one, you're playing like a small village in some remote area with a bunch of colonists come along. And they're very friendly to the colonists and help them, teach them how to live off the land and things like that.
Yeah.
And it's sort of the story of, like, as this colonists, as they grow in population, eventually things kind of... they start needing more workers, and then the first things get really barren because all the colonists are using all the resources, so they're going, the villagers are going hungry.
It's a classic tale of colonialization.
Yeah. Where I thought it got kind of interesting was that it's like the colonization, but then it's like this one person who starts working as a slave master, who's one of the people in the village. But why he's doing it, and like, you know, he sort of views that the slavery is going to happen anyway. At least if he's there, he can be the kind, gentle hand. And so it's kind of interesting seeing this one person.
And the story starts with him sort of saying that he's a pacifist and he doesn't believe in violence. Even though that is a pacifist. But you go through and each of those games is about resource management, sort of like like a 10 grams, sort of just like putting these shapes together to farm the world.
It's trying to make it all fit.
Yeah.
And so it's like, you know, you've got these pieces which represent different people, and you're trying to make it all fit. Yes. And then also, it's sort of in the context of irrigation of land. Mm-hmm. And it kind of shifts from everyone being happy, putting it together quite easily, to like it's getting more complicated, but then all the food is going to the colonists, not to the villagers. Yeah. And then every time the villagers don't eat, the little icon takes damage. And so you can see them like, okay, this one's starting to blink red really fast. So like they're getting very hungry. So I thought it was kind of cool. Like it's like the subtle shift in how the mechanics worked. So you kind of like, it was telling a narrative. Mm-hmm. And so when I got to the point where they were doing the raid, where the character was deciding we need to go raid food because this person's about to die. Yeah. I've been solving the puzzles and I could see that progression of like, oh, this person is about to die. So I thought that was nice how that kind of all fit together. So I actually ended up being most sympathetic to that one after the colonist one because I like the kind of moral greys that were in there.
The end of that one,
yes, of
the story, not the end.
Yeah.
If you choose them at the end of the game, is that because someone was doing the stealing and
someone's very hungry and they stole food.
Yep.
And so that was like, okay, well, they need to be punished. So they basically go to your character and say, prove your loyalty. Put the gun in his hand. Then instead of killing the fellow villager, he kills one of the colonists. Who then one of in the guard tower shoots your character, or as much as it can be your character, and then your, I think, wife or whoever who's just sleeping in bed, one of the colonists goes down and just shoots her in bed. Yeah, like it's pretty dark how it ends. Like
they're all pretty dark.
Yeah, basically it ends with basically genocide at that, like slavery and genocide. It's like
that one ends with the pacifist who is known as the jailer in this story. He says, I should have killed them all when I got the chance.
Yeah.
And so when James had to repick, he's like, I was thinking about being the jailer. I'm like, you realize he might just go kill them all, right? And spoiler time, everyone.
That's what he does. I like that video because like at some, I don't know if the other ones did this, but at some point like the music stopped.
Oh no! So the only one I've had was The Alchemist, and the music plays the whole way through. So James recorded this for me, which I suppose we can distribute to other people if we really need to, because it is hard to get all these endings. And it is like it's sort of setting up. He starts putting explosives in there and starts putting a plan in place. And as the darker turn starts happening, this lovely acoustic song it just cuts silent, and the rest of it plays out in near silence as people get shot, and then the people come in for revenge, and he fucking kills himself and all of them.
Kills them all.
You get to inspire a suicide bomber, I guess.
You do. That's the something we should say about when the choice comes up, like when there's because like the whole game is like, there's like that big mirror. And there's like the five characters.
Like a framing hub.
Yeah. And the moment that you get to the last one, at least with iPhone, it pops up the message saying wants access to your camera.
Yeah.
And you go, oh, sure. And then immediately you see your face.
Yes.
And I thought that was a really nice touch. Like, it's like,
very tearaway.
Yeah. Like, oh, cool. Like, so I am part of this world. Like, I am the judge, and they have come to me.
And while they work out who you choose by comparing them all with each other, and you get to slider either way. And as you do it, they will make their argument to you. They will beg. They will say like, no, I just need one chance to do this and everything. So they react like real people. The choice is, unfortunately, the Alchemist is too easy to choose.
Yes. Yep.
It's almost like discard him. Discard him and start looking at the other ones.
Yeah.
So yes, the jailer is very interesting, and then the other ones we won't go through all their stories because what's the point? We can mention what the things are. So there's a diver who she was in a diving team and she was the top shit, and then as they get more professional, she becomes the worst one and finds out her teammates are on drugs, and she starts doing drugs as well. And that game is sort of a geometric game about like setting up these fancy jumps. But as people take drugs and everything, people that are more powerful sort of level up and they get more powerful bounces, so you can start doing different geometry and the bounces are fancier.
Yeah, well, you end up with that thing where like you break the rules.
Yes.
Where there's like zones of reverse gravity and things like that. So you start bending the ball to kind of
I thought those gravity things were literally changing the potency of drugs. It's like, well, we need more of an up in here and down in here, and so that's very interesting. So, and then, we don't really need to say how it. So, do we? Yeah, I guess how it has it that her two teammates turn on her and she gets disgraced and kicked out.
Yeah, they kind of throw her under the bus, and
so you could pick her. The other two are the newspaper. So this is the one that the Kotaku writer wrote about.
The newspaper one,
the newspaper one's really interesting. It's like a legacy of this paper, which is a very positive, focused paper.
Yeah, and I especially like the start of it is like this. Like it starts before you're born.
Yes, yeah.
And so it's like it's showing
a real legacy.
It's showing the origin of this newspaper. I think it's called the Uplift. And it must be in like the probably 1900s somewhere around them.
And all the puzzles here are about sort of like making connections between things. You're basically editing and writing and trying to avoid the negativity basically.
Yeah.
The paper starts failing as it becomes more modern, and you join up with the Daily Hate, and you start becoming basically
Fox News, basically.
Yeah. You sort of start having regrets, and then an ex-employee that you manage to piss off comes into the place, and while you're sort of thinking about maybe I can turn this around, he blows up the building and everyone in it, including himself and you. Yeah. Now the Kotaku writer was like, this game was wonderful until I got to this bit. They're victim blaming the guy for being killed. It's like, what? I don't think he's being like framed as the person responsible for being blown up. His regret isn't I got blown up. His regret is putting more negativity in the world and turning his back on the legacy of his family and everything. Being blown up is just like an unfortunate side of it. Like, we're not saying the bomber was a good person here.
Because I never didn't feel like, and maybe this is where the Alchemist is a bit out of place. Because I felt like all the other ones, they weren't trying to say these were good people. They were trying to like say, well, what would you choose? Yeah, like that was the whole premise of it. So, it's like, what would you pick?
There's one thing that I think is bullshit in the newspaper one. So at the end, they're all like, basically you turn things green, you go to green things, they're positive stories, you go to red ones, that's negative stories. So at the end, there's a very, very simple puzzle, which is just you start in the middle and you can either go to red or go to green. First time, because I played through it twice, I go to green the first time. I'm like, okay, he wants to turn the paper around and be uplifting. What if I say just keep being hate, go to red? You can't. It just doesn't accept the solution to the puzzle.
Oh,
it's like because it just assumes that you as a player are going to do that, and you do it so quickly.
Well, this is something I would have liked to have seen more in there. I think it was a bit of a wasted opportunity. Was that I didn't want there to be like these extra puzzles at the end. I wanted there to be another solution that was just very difficult. And so it would have been like you don't go back and you just have a new set of puzzles. I wanted there to be
you can replay it. You replay
it, but find the real solution.
Okay, like I forgot because that would have been a different game, but interesting.
Yeah, because like I felt like I wanted there more choice. Like I was just like somewhere hidden in that whole sequence of puzzles, I wanted there to be a choice where it could have diverted. Something like a puzzle that looks
just one of them that just can take you on different paths.
Yeah, or maybe one that like one of the because they go up and down in difficulty.
Yeah,
maybe there's one which is very simple, but there's actually a convoluted way to solve it a different way.
It's like the whole thing is just. The moral stories that they're putting in there are they're not like Aesop fables things.
No.
They're really interesting non-straight because it's like, you're a drug cheat, but like the heroes that came out fine were also drug cheats and all this like,
and they're just trying to do it to like
it's like, well, we want to keep a business going to keep people employed. And
that's what I liked about the newspaper one was that like the guy genuinely tried not to go, join the Daily Hate. Like he tried for a long time to keep that business afloat.
What I like is that I think for me, and from the comments on that article, a lot of people, I think we think he's the worst character. We think he did the most damage to the world.
I kind of did as well.
Yeah, it's a very interesting... Yeah.
And maybe because that was the only one which had such widespread effect.
Yes,
like,
yes.
All the other ones are very personal stories. And that was also the one you could relate to the most in the modern environment. Yeah. Like, we think of the damage
Are you telling me that
press.
the Preserver or whatever, the final one, you didn't relate to?
Oh, that one, no.
Okay, so what I love is...
Can we get to the one that made me mad? Which is the Preserve one.
Yeah. It's a Protector, isn't it? Yeah, Protector.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Preventer.
Yeah. Okay, so we've had these, we've had... sort of a village man, a colonialist story, a modern sports person, newspaper. So we've been, pretty grounded. So what's it time for? Now it's time for magical wizards whose job it is to stop bad things happening in the world. And I was so on board when this started. I'm like, what the fuck? This is not a turn. So basically you go to school. I always think about the main character as you in these games. And you go to school to become this sort of fancy wizard that sees premonitions of things, and then a special room brings those things into the now, and then you can alter that something to stop bad things from happening. You and another you're female in this. Another girl graduates, and so here's the only thing I found weird. I guess they're wizards, but they start a relationship, and then they were surprised that they fell pregnant. Now, I just feel like biologically, in the wizard world, I'm totally fine with two women getting pregnant. Yeah. But I feel like you'd still have to do something. Like, you'd have a spell, or maybe they just do IVF, I'm not sure. Yeah. But it's hard to be surprised by pregnancy with two women.
And also when you have power of premonition.
But I don't think they can premonition. Oh, no, they can. They can choose because they're not supposed to.
Yes.
So this story... So basically, it's a match 3 game. Mm-hmm. Where it's puzzle based, so you don't just get to slide things around, you're just trying to solve it, where you are putting elements out there to reduce these lines on the board so that people get to a state at the bottom which is saved.
And you can kind of combine things, so it's like you'll have water and fire that combine to be steam. Or water and plant, which will grow the plant. This was the one that I liked it, but it made me real mad.
There's some tough ones in that one.
Because I think this was the one where I struggled the most to kind of think ahead. And I felt I resorted to just randomness to kind of get through it more than other ones.
They were often the kind of puzzles where I felt like I wish they had one less step. Like I just needed that starting step to see where I was supposed to start. And then...
the way it was executed I liked, though. So I like that, like, you start off and I think you just have like fire or something. You got like 2 abilities.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, cool, I got these things and they're pretty easy to solve. And then like you meet the partner. And then she's got, I think, water, and she's got 2 things. And when you're with her, the puzzles are very elegant to solve. They're easy and they're elegant.
Yeah, and you tend to wipe most things off the board.
Yeah, and it's kind of like it's just like this fun thing where you're solving it easy. There's a nice cascade, and like it works. Like, okay, I like that reflects the working relationship. And then there's the thing where it's like she gets a premonition of her kid dying.
Yes, and she tries to prevent
it, and she can't.
Which is interesting. I think that's almost the only time in the game where they give you a board for saving the kid, and it's only like steam and water. Like it's really, really simple, and they let you just fill the board with these things, but no reactions happen. So that's the only time in the game that I can think of where they give you a puzzle that the game stops behaving by its own logic, and that's in the story saying
it makes
they're
sense.
not allowed to do
that.
It
impact it. So it's like, okay,
magic doesn't work that way.
That's cool. So kid dies, but now she can't tell.
No, kid doesn't die.
Sorry, the kid will die.
The kid will die at 5.
Well, yeah, but now she doesn't want to tell the partner, and so this is where the partner's abilities go away. And so now you got to solve them by yourself, and they add that new mechanic of the teleport, which took me a little bit to understand how it worked. But when I got it, I kind of got it. But this is where it started getting difficult.
There are some complex combinations you need to do.
And this is probably the closest I got to kind of looking up the solution, at least to get a hint in the right direction, just to see. But then when I looked up people playing it, they were just stuck. So I ended up actually just solving it myself, but it was in no way satisfying when I solved it. Like, I didn't really feel like I went, aha, I've got it. and solved it. I just felt like I stumbled on it.
I get that halfway through the solution.
Yeah.
I go like, oh, okay, I'm in the right one now.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I can do this, yeah.
And so I was getting more and more frustrated with it. Now, the one that frustrated me the most, where I sent those messages, was the one where the partner finds out and you have to explain it. And it makes... It's genius that the most complicated, frustrating one is the one where you need to explain to your partner why it is you've done what you've done.
Because, well, we haven't said what she did yet.
Oh, sorry. Yeah,
which is... So she gets another case where a building is going to burn down and the fire escape is locked, and she unlocks it to let everyone out, and then she sees that the building manager or whatever is the guy that's going to kill her son, so she relocks the door and lets him burn to death.
So she kills a guy.
So straight up murderer.
Yep, murders. And so she has to explain that to her partner. And even though I fucking hated that puzzle, I think for something that wanted to capture the complexity of explaining something that complex to another person, and it needing me to solve it if she could explain it, I thought it was very clever. It doesn't mean that I enjoyed it, but I did very much appreciate the parallels with the narrative. Yeah. So I did. That's why that one frustrated the hell out of me, but I think that frustration was used very effectively. So
here's the thing that I think I'm just going to play through the entire game again because I need to see what this one does. Because at this, basically the police end up finding out, the magic police, because it's a magic world. Why not? It's a video game. Do what you want. Yeah. It doesn't mean that the emotion doesn't need to. And as she's dragged away, her final thing is, I would have done it again.
Yes.
So what the fuck is going to happen if you pick her at the end? Does she just go in and stab the guy this time?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, I just love that none of these stories are your typical... Like, The Alchemist is the closest to a typical moral story. But even then, it's like, let your granddaughter die and maybe you can make the world better afterwards. I was telling this at work the other day. Years ago on Reddit, I saw a post about a person whose dog was sick and they had to take it to be put down. And so they spent the day at the beach, and then they bought it like a hamburger and like a chocolate milkshake, because who gives a fuck about a chocolate milkshake for a dog if it's going to get put down in an hour? I think about that every day of my fucking life, that story.
Yeah.
I almost teared up telling you that story.
I can see in your eyes.
It's like, I am worried about my dogs now.
Did you open the door there, buddy?
Human kids, I don't care. Whatever. but it's like, so... The Alchemist story, I very much understand. Yeah. Spending that quality time while you can and letting someone go and everything. So that's the closest thing to a traditional moral in there. Like, I suppose like the newspaper might just decide to let the newspaper go under or something. Yeah, that might be a really clean one, not too dramatic. And like, so maybe... But like the one that you did, where they cut the music halfway and like, yep, he's just gonna kill everyone. Like, oh shit,
that's what he said.
Yeah. I mean, like, if I'm gonna make predictions, I'd say like, okay, newspaper lets it fold, and they just go and they just start working another job, and they have a family, and they just move on with their lives. The diver just decides to not participate and goes and does something else with her life, and I guess the wizard chick just stabs a guy. I need to find out.
Yeah, that one I do want to know. I want to know.
It's all like, I like that he locks you out from just looking at all the endings, but I hate that he locked us out from looking at all the endings.
Well, it did make it more impactful. Like, it does me like, I feel like that was my ending.
Yeah.
But
I feel cheap that I want to go play through it, but I really want to see what he did because they're so interesting.
Yeah.
I hope I'm wrong about all those predictions. I hope something comes in strange. A really interesting game. It's so weird compared to like their other games as well.
Oh, to build a boat and
10 million. Like, I'd love to see more of this stuff. This is the kind of shit that I'd love to see on Apple Arcade.
I think it is the kind of shit we'll see on Apple Arcade. Yeah. Like, I think these kinds of titles. Yeah. It was. I mean, I think it was like $6 or something like that.
Yeah.
And probably 2.5 hours to finish. About half an hour.
Yeah, because they sort of say about half an hour a story.
I think some of them, like, I'm pretty sure the last one I spent a bit longer on than some of the earlier
just because some of those puzzles can get pretty complex.
But I found it was also good just to do in sittings. Yeah. I think you asked me like a week ago or something, like, you done it yet? And I'm like, I've done like the first two. Like, I found it was really good to just go, I'll just do one.
I sort of just did it. I'll do one. I think I did each story in one sitting each.
Yeah.
But I would just stop and do the next one.
I think the only one I didn't do a sitting was maybe just the last one.
Yeah.
I think I had to kind of take a break. But yeah, it was very playable. Like I feel like I got my money's worth out of it for sure.
I do just love that even just, we just repeated all the stories basically. Even then I'm just like, and the way the stories are told, even just in the pictographic way, and they're like the weird thing of taking the photograph between each part as well is always just like, it's all just a little bit intimate, and I have quite a strong emotional connection to all of them. And even though they're still very broad and they don't go too much into characterization, it's like, no, I get it.
Yeah.
I know all these things. And yeah, I really, really enjoyed that game. I hope they do. Well, I don't hope they do the same thing.
I'd be curious to see what does next.
Yes, it's especially story-based games telling like short stories.
I bet it's made no fucking money.
Nah.
Yeah, like it's a premium title. It hasn't had much featuring I've seen. Like I haven't seen Apple feature it.
All I've seen is a bunch of tweets and a bunch of like stories on sort of more socially progressive blogs and stuff.
So we might not get more, just because I really hope this thing is done okay. But
I kind of hope that they just like, you must build a boat is strangely like it's enough that they just made something for fun, for something for passion.
It does feel a bit like that, because my rough gut of how much something like this would make it be in the thousands, maybe like 5,000-6,000. And would be my guess.
Production value, like it's fully voiced.
Yeah, like it would have cost more than that to make. Yeah. I hope I'm wrong. I hope it has made more than that. But that's my gut on what something like this would make.
I think that sort of wraps it up. Thanks for listening. I hope if you played it, you enjoyed it, or you at least enjoyed us telling you everything about the game. Well, I guess the one good thing is like even if you know everything,
you don't know the endings.
It's still a puzzle game.
There's 3 endings you don't know.
Yeah. There's like 50 puzzles in this game.
Yeah.
It's like
there's a lot there. Yeah.
So yeah, it's still worth playing even if you know everything. Thanks for listening, everyone. Have a good time.
See ya.